Let's just say you know someone that has a business, or you meet someone that has a business, and you're like, look, I could run ads for you and I can help you out, okay? You got to get them to go to Facebook. Go to business.facebook.com, and then they'll log in with their personal Facebook profile. And then depending on what happens after that screen, multiple different, because not many people have a Meta Business Suite, or it's called Business Manager account, okay? Which is annoying that they have two names, but that's just the world. But so that's what really they need to have. A business needs to have one of those. And then you can get in there and help them. And that will look like this, basically. Like, I'll just show you the settings here. Oh, shoot, it's gonna make me do that, never mind. It will look like the ads manager. You'll have a menu on the side like this. You'll be able to have access to all these other tools and all these other things that you don't have access in the front end to. So it's much better. But in the ads manager, so basically this is how all advertising online is set up. So when we get into Google ads, we'll look at running Google ads, right? TikTok ads, even Twitter ads. They will all be in this basic same framework. So we have a campaign, we have an ad set, and then we have the actual ad, okay? The campaign is always going to be if you click and see, the objective of what you're trying to do, right? So we have options for different objectives that we are trying to tell the Facebook ads algorithm to do. Awareness, traffic, engagement, leads, app, promotion, or sales. The most common ones that are always used is going to be sales. So in this case, it's an e-commerce company. So it's 100% sales. And that's going to constantly tell the algorithm, hey, I only want you to find people that will be a sale, right? Not engage, right? Because you could tell the algorithm, I want you to find people that are really highly likely to leave a post or leave a comment on my post or like it or something like that, right? Leads is one that we do use a lot. If it's like a local business, maybe it's a local like massage place or something like that, or a local beauty place, they would want to get leads for people that are interested in their services, and then they would get their email, they would get their phone number. So leads is something we'll go for if they don't have something you can directly buy on the internet.
Okay.
Right, you know what I'm saying? So leads and sales are going to be the two most predominant. So the campaign level is you're telling the Facebook algorithm the objective. What do you want to do? Then on the ad set level, you're telling the algorithm on the ad set level, who do you want to reach? Where do you want to reach them? And then how much do you want to spend? So inside each campaign, you can have as many different ad sets as you want. There's a whole different strategy for ad sets and how to make ad sets. But campaigns house the ad sets. The ad sets are who and where the ad is seen. And then you click into the next level, which is the actual ad, right? Which is just straight up, this is the ad. And then you can see the preview of the ad on Facebook, on Instagram. You can see all that jazz. All that jazz, right? So basically, those are the three levels of running ads. So they're spending a lot of money. So they are very kind of sophisticated in their ability to spend money. But I want to show you what that actually means, because what you do when you're running ads really depends upon how, is this going to load? Is this going to go crazy? How sophisticated, how much data is on the pixel. If the pixel will load. The data is found in the events manager, and maybe it'll load, maybe it won't. We'll find out. But the events manager tells us, there we go. Sheesh kabish. Okay, so this is the pixel. So when we talk about the pixel, each pixel has its own ID. So there's a pixel ID that's associated with it. So if I go to, I don't have it installed. Let me install it on Facebook Pixel Helper. This is a Chrome extension that will tell you if a pixel is on a website or not. So you can install it into your Google Chrome, and then you could go to any website like, I don't know, this website. And then if there's a pixel, you click on it and it will tell you if there's anything there. So this one, there's nothing there. So
what do you mean by a pixel? Like,
so yeah, I'll show you in a sec. So there should be a pixel on Facebook. Gosh, let me the zero proof. Okay, see that right there? Okay, so this is a little piece of code. If you look in the whoops, put this at the bottom here real quick. Okay, so up in, oh my goodness, sorry about that. Up in the head would be a Facebook pixel code somewhere in here, and it would be with one of these quotation marks or comments here. It would say Facebook pixel, basically. So it's a little piece of script, JavaScript, I believe, that you add at the top in the head of the website. And so what the pixel does is, that's what I'm about to show you. Once that is on the website, it collects all the data about anyone who goes to the website. And then you can see right here, this is the data that it collects. So the more information, let me make sure that people can see this here. The more information that is on these events. So this is basically like if you're going to a store, a grocery store, this is the same process that you usually do, is you walk in the store. So that's page view, which is someone just going to the website, right? You look at something inside the store when you're in the store, which is view content, right? Then you actually grab something off the shelf, put it in your basket or your cart, right? Obviously it's add to cart. And then you get to the checkout and you actually start taking yourself out of your cart and putting it in on the whatever belt to do something. Maybe while you're in the store, you search for something or you ask someone for help, blah, blah, blah. And then obviously you purchase something. But it's kind of in that order. So then you can see the difference. This has like 500,000 events, and that's within the last 28 days. So there's been about 500,000 events of whatever page views, but then there's like 6.3 thousand in sales events. And then the events are all kind of different, but it's just people going in there, and then whatever data. See, 56% of your purchase events are received through the following hash customer information through your advanced setup: country, region, email address, first name, phone number, post, things like that. So there's things you can do to improve this, to make it better, blah, blah, blah. But basically, if you came to this page and there was nothing here, or there was only page view, it's going to be a lot different of a strategy and a lot harder to run ads because there's no data. So the goal is to train the algorithm to know who will purchase, because it has so many different points of people, it like knows so much about different people, that then it's like who will actually purchase, because we know a lot about who has purchased from you. And then you just constantly are getting it to go out there and continue to do that. Does that make sense? Any questions? That was a 15-minute ramble.
So, I mean, so you're training the algorithm. So, like, what does that mean? Like, you're making, like, an actual algorithm and, like
so every algorithm is actually its own algorithm. There's one master algorithm, but you have your own algorithm when you run ads, basically. So you have to train it like a dog to obey certain commands, meaning right now we're looking at the ads, okay? So this is all sales. So this is the campaign level on this tab, and then we got ad sets and ads, right? So it's all going after sales. So what we want to do is first, we want the algorithm to constantly give us a return on our ad spend, which is the total return on ad spend from purchases, which is ROAS. And this is based on an approximate shop sales that's occurred on the meta technologies. Basically, this gives us an idea of if we spend $1, then we will get back whatever the number, so $3.73, right? So it's the amount of money that we get in return, it's the rate of return. So the higher the ROAS, the more return we get for our individual dollar in a sense that we're spending, right? So our goal when we're running ads, especially for e-commerce like this, is we want to have a ROAS above 3. Sometimes you could do a ROAS above 2, to where it's like for every dollar I spend, I make $1 back type of thing. But it depends on the product. It depends on the business. It depends on how much they can afford to spend to get a sale, right? Because they're buying sales. Basically, advertising is just buying customers is what you're doing. So we want to keep it above 3. So you can see this number right here, 3.7, right? That's based off of the last month. But then you kind of, there's like the last 7 days, which is even higher, right? There's the last 14 days, which is the same. There's the last 30 days, pretty much that's what we just looked at. Which, they're all the same. You can see these other ones which are turned off for various reasons, but the goal here is we want to keep spending money on ads until they start going below 3, and then we turn it off. So that's part of the fundamentals of training the algorithm. Is if you keep spending money on advertising that isn't converting in the way you want it to, then the algorithm's just going to keep giving you those same type of customers. So you constantly need to be pushing the algorithm to only be running ads to high converting people. So the process in that is figuring out which ads, like the actual creative, like these videos or images, whatever they are, right? Which one of those and which audience will be the highest converting. So theoretically, if you think about one video that you see on Instagram or Facebook, right? Just one of those. What we want to have happen is we want that one video to basically be ran to every possible audience that is closely related or has the highest possible chance of purchasing the product, right? And we'll know when this video sucks and we should turn it off and never use it again when we've ran it to like our 4 best top audiences and it doesn't get sales from any of them.
And so there's a base price for running like each ad, and like if you want to push it farther, it's like more expensive.
Okay, let's get deeper into the actual creation. Yeah. So when you're in that campaign level, you click here and then you click sale, okay? And then it gives you 2 different options. All of this up here, it's called Advantage Plus. They have all this new whiz bang stuff always coming out, new ideas and new stuff. But like it's always gonna suck for the most part. So do a manual sale, and then you're gonna be presented with. I want to turn catalog off because catalog is. You can have like a feed coming from your website. If you have thousands of products on your website, you can't make ads for every single one. You need to have a feed coming from your website that goes into the ads, that then it just automatically shows your product at that point. Okay. So it's a little bit different of a process. That's why that catalog's there. So for now, then we go into the ad set. So you basically can decide how much you spend on the ads, and it's all advertising is based off of, let's do this. This is easier. Explain CPM. Yeah, there we go. Sorry. Redo that. So CPM is cost per milli, which is basically cost per 1,000. And it's how all advertising is measured across the board. So if you were to get a billboard or any sort of advertising, it would be based off of 1,000 eyeballs, 1,000 impressions. So CPM is, it's supposed to be CPM, cost per milli, also known as cost per thousand. Milli is the Latin for thousand. Milli or mil, cost per mil. Right? You know Latin because you're like in a frat. Is that what you know Latin, bro? Or is that Latin?
Nah,
it's not Latin.
No. Is it?
Latin,
it probably
What's
is.
your frat name? Sigma.
Sigma Chi.
Sigma Alpha Chi.
Yeah,
nice.
something like that. Something like that.
It's just Sigma Chi.
Yeah,
that's
pretty much it.
Okay, so that always is going to be a measurement. So you can see here. Let's see if we can find the cost CPM. Where is it? Columns, and then PM. There you go. And then I'll flip that up in the front there. So then you can see right here. So it costs $21 to reach 1,000 people for this audience, for this ad set. It costs $28 to reach this one, $30. So when you get a bill from Facebook ads, you're only shown the amount you paid per like campaign or ad set, and then how many thousands of people you reached. That's all they care about is the CPM, cost per 1,000 impressions.
Okay.
So in the sense of like how much does it cost to run ads, it's dependent upon how much it costs to reach 1,000 of those type of the people that you want to reach.
Yeah, cool.
CPM. So basically inside your ad set then is where you choose your spend, and then so like we know for sure based off of that we ran ads to this, it costs like $21 to reach those people. So if it costs $33 for this ad set, then if I spent $33 in a day, then I would reach 1,000 people. And then I would know that my ads, my individual ads here, they would reach at least 1,000 people to figure out if, hey, is this good or bad? Did I get any sales? Did I get any not? Right. So I think that's kind of the best overhead structure. There's more details inside of like what audiences and how do you pick the audiences and what types of ads. And then how do you create them? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But on a higher level, so like right now, let's just say we just met somebody and you were like, oh, I can run ads for you, right? What you can do is you can go and use anything. So if they have a social media, hopefully they have an Instagram or Facebook, you can go into the ad and you can use existing posts, which is basically kind of like the boosting I was talking about. But you click here, you go use existing posts, and then you can go and select what they already have publicly. So if you don't create something for them, if you don't create like a video or something, and they actually still have them, you can still use what they have. So you can still help them, basically, is what I'm saying, without having to create ads. Yeah. So these are just their public Instagram posts. So you can go in here and select that and then use that as an ad, but then you can just run it more strategically. You can pick a better audience to be shown, etc. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that is pretty much Facebook ad campaign structure on a high level as far as, understanding like this is the ads manager. This is the most important part of Facebook ads. This is the kind of understanding how you would get in here and run things. So if it is, let me see if I have a different company here. Well, I'll show you this one actually. This one is spending a lot of money. Like yesterday, they spent 23,000 a week.
A week.
20 grand a week. And there's a lot of different creatives going out.
And this is like their e-commerce?
Yeah, this is all e-commerce. They sell this drink. It's like called soursop.
Huh.
Have you heard of it?
No.
Yeah.
Are you suffering from high blood pressure? This simple African fruit extract has been hailed
And
as
so you're not making any of the videos?
No, I'm not making any of the ads or anything. So somebody else makes the ads. I just put them up and run them basically for them. So they make the ads and then I come in here and run them. But it's the same type of thing. It's just the way that each of these accounts is like kind of structured differently. So the strategies and everything is like basically the same as far as how to like the campaigns, sales, right? The ad sets are some of these have an audience in them that is specific, and some of them are
more broad.
There's 100% broad. There's like you just let the algorithm just run with it, right? And then you can have inside one ad set, you can have multiple ads. Like there's a bunch of ads inside of here, or you could have one ad per ad set. There's a bunch of different strategies and ways. Let me pull a different account here. Oh wait, we can do that one. This one is a local business. It's like an acupuncture IV. They do IV therapy. So like if you were partying, you could call them and they'd come over with an IV, and then you'd be sober. You'd be like sober in 1 second.
That's crazy.
Isn't that weird? Yeah. But also for like vitamins and stuff. But they've only spent like $175 in the last week compared to like 23,000.
But it's a lot more like
it's just a local business. It's like a Kingwood, Texas.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know where that is.
I have no idea.
Yeah, exactly. So this is an ad for. I'll pull up the ad here. It's just it goes to a lead form, so it looks like.
And do you have it specified for like a specific like location?
Yeah.
Like,
this is in the ad set. The ad set is the location and the placement. So who's gonna see it and where they're gonna see it is the ad set. Okay. Who and where. So right here in location, it says only Kingwood, Texas. Only people in Kingwood, Texas. And then it's only people in Kingwood, Texas that are interested in beauty salons, day spas, or stone massage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's pretty simple. And then it's just shown anywhere on Facebook and Instagram. And then there's 5 different images in there. But I'll get more deeper into different strategy. I just kind of wanted to show you a little bit different accounts because it is all, even though these are different types of businesses, this is a local business, not spending a lot of money. This is a e-commerce business spending a decent amount of money. Another e-commerce business spending a crazy amount of money, right? But they all it's always going to be the same structure. It's just figuring out, remember I showed you that events thing. Let's see if I can pull that up. Each one of these has a different different level of events on their pixel. So, like obviously that little acupuncture place doesn't have much information or data on their pixel, but like this one has a ton. But this one has, interesting enough, we just looked at the other one, which was that non-alcoholic one, right? Which the non-alcoholic one had about 500,000 page views, I think, events, right?
Yeah.
But then had half of the purchases, if you remember. So that's actually very interesting. So this one is like doing double the doubly good, which is interesting. So anyways, that is basically the whole structure. I think we'll take a little pause here and then we'll get deeper into the kind of ad sets. We'll just get real granular into ad sets and each individual thing, and then talk about like how to apply it towards a business that needs leads versus a business that needs sales. All businesses need sales, right? But if you were talking to a plumber, right, and you were like, hey, I can help you, they need leads. They need people's emails. They need people's phone numbers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, super duper. Thanks for joining us. See you in the next video. All right, so we're going after leads in this ad set, and that is going to go directly to, so when you see an ad for this type of strategy, it's going to say, hey, check this out, click on the Dealy Bop here to sign up. And that is actually a form on Facebook. So this is a unique, this is the form here. So when you click on this ad, you see this form. Now, this is very important because you could theoretically run ads for any business and they don't need a website, right? They don't need a website.
Yeah.
And the reason why that is important is because let's just say you talk to Plumber Joe, okay? And Plumber Joe needs some help with ads because he needs business, like every business. And the problem is Plumber Joe's website is horrible. It absolutely looks like trash, and it was built in the 90s and hasn't been updated since like 1995, right? So running ads to Plumber Joe's whole website would be horrible, right? Because it wouldn't convert at all. It would just, it needs to be set up for conversion. You need to be like focused on trying to get people's information. So, but in a lot of cases, if you're running ads for a company, you need to, their website needs to be like really good if you're going to run ads to it. So if you can't change their website for whatever reason, then you can run ads directly to a form like this, which will collect their information, and then you can get that information and then contact the people. So you could even set it up to where they have like an appointment calendar that you could book into, right? But ideally, running to a form is the best way for leads, because this is, you don't leave Facebook to get on here, and every single local business, like an electrician, plumber, like blue collar businesses, local types of businesses, they all need this. They need ads ran for them that go to a form and that actually, there's no pixel, ay caramba, that actually get them leads, right? So in the ad set is where you decide that. So if you are running leads objective in your campaign, so you're telling the algorithm to find people that are most likely to give you their contact information, you can tell them where you would be sending people. You could send people to your website, and then they go to your website and they would give you contact information there, which is mainly what most people use their website for. Or you could do this instant form things that I'm talking about. But you would prefer, you would want to do instant forms before a website, because most people's websites suck. Most people's websites are not good enough to actually be able to run ads to it and for those ads to really work very well. You know what I mean? Like, you've gone to a crappy website,
Yeah.
and you're like, why am I here?
It's my website.
Why do they hate you? You just coded your website from scratch, though, so that's pretty cool. So then as we go down in the ad set, so we choose like what we're doing, what type of conversion. Then you choose your Facebook page. These things you don't really mess around with too much. Cost per goal gets a little bit more advanced because basically what we're doing is an auction. So we're trying to auction against other advertisers in this area for this audience. And so you can tell it to be like, hey, I only want to spend $20 per lead, right? And then it will try and get you leads for $20, but you might not spend any money because it might not be able to find you leads for $20.
Because leads are in demand, so like people are going to spend more money.
Auction, yeah, because it's an auction.
Okay.
Yeah, so then somebody would be willing to spend $25, $30 for a lead, and then they would basically win out over you in a way. But it's not necessarily like based off of leads. It's just that people getting an ad shown to that person that could potentially be a lead theoretically. Theoretically. And so then you can set your budget and your scale or your schedule. And so there's a lot of theories about how to do this the best way. So ideally, we get a campaign, which is the objective. We have an ad set, which is our audience. And so if you can find as many audiences as possible, then you want to have as many ad sets as possible to figure out which audience is going to be the best. So you could do $10, you could do $5. You can actually, the lowest you can spend is $1 a day on Facebook. So for $1 a day, and I did this a long time when I was just learning. I just was running $1 a day ads just to figure out ads, just to learn it, just to have something happening. I mean, it's only $30 a month, you know? Yeah. And if you think about it, every single business should be at least spending $30 a month on ads.
Yeah.
It's $1 a day, guys.
It's a big difference.
Come on. I mean, it's not that much money, and it makes a big difference. I mean, they could reach... Well, for this one, it says I could reach up to 500 people for $1. The estimated audience size is about 40,000 people for this. So as we scroll down, then we get into our location. And that's where we're talking about, this is only shown in Kingwood, Texas. And there's probably not that many people in Kingwood, Texas, right? And then only to these types of interests. So when we look in here, there's a lot of different options that you can do for finding out this detailed targeting. And detailed targeting could have its own section in itself and whole course, and there's all these types of things. The end goal that we're trying to do is really just get in front of as many people as possible, because the targeting could be anywhere and anything. But obviously, if these people are already going to spas, then they're probably going to be interested in, this is an IV therapy business. So it's like, you know, hydration, vitamins in your IV, which is kind of spa related type of thing. But when you're in here, you just can click in here. You can see suggestions if you type something in, and it gives you a lot of different ideas based off of what you've already put in there. So then you can, you know, there's a lot of other options. So that's what I mean. You could have 100 ad sets, and they're all $1, right? Yeah. And each one is a different audience. And then very quickly you'll be able to figure out which audience gets the most clicks, which audience gets the most impressions, because eventually it will. They're all not going to be equal. The algorithm will show who it wants to show to. So figuring that out is the best thing. So all of these there's a lot more.
So will the algorithm, it will show it to a lot of people at first, and then if nobody like engages with it, then it'll stop showing it to people?
It'll just get more expensive. So it'll show to less people because it's getting more expensive, and which will end up being more expensive. So even if it stays at $1 a day, it'll never spend more than $1 a day. But it would start, there is something called frequency, which is one of the measurements, and it's how frequent your ad is shown in a day to end user kind of thing. And if that frequency gets high, it's because the overall campaign and the audience is, it's like being exhausted, basically. It's just, they don't like it, nobody likes it. So if you keep running it, it'll just keep being, I don't think it would be less, it would keep being less and less people, but your algorithm wouldn't be getting trained, and you just keep spending money, but you're not getting the result you want, which is a lead.
You're not finding like the niche of people that like actually want it. Like it just like keeps going to the same people that don't want it.
Yeah. So running ads is really, like, you can see the history here when we look at all the ad sets for all of the campaigns. And so whoever was doing this was, I think, some agency was running these ads. So these are all, you can see they tried like beautiful skin. These are all different audiences in Kingwood. So that's a little bit different of a type of audience, right? So that's because this is a professional agency that ran these ads, right? So this is the same strategy that anyone would do if you actually knew what you were doing, is one ad set, one audience per ad set, and then try to test out. And you can see right here, nothing. They spent amount spent $26, amount spent $8, and then it looks like they tried spas once. No, they tried spas before, right?
Yeah.
So some kind of spas happened here because this is the maximum time frame. So this is the whole history of the account right here.
Oh.
So, and if you name your ad sets like this, because I name my ad sets like this, so anyone could go in the future and look back on the ads I created and kind of get an idea based off of the names of what was happening. So they tried spas once. They spent $8.25. It didn't do anything for some reason. They spent another $8.
What does this show if you did anything? Is that results?
Right here. So here, I can stretch this out. Yeah. And that is a lead. So an on Facebook lead. So then for something, but result, we can change what we see on these columns. But that was the goal for this campaign is leads. So they started running for this, which is spas, which is the same audience, but different creative. Wait, let me go back here. Get out of there.
So the strategy is to like just try to like process of elimination, trying to find like the best one, like
best audience, best creative. And so eventually it'll stop getting leads, or the leads, or whatever the goal is, right? If it's sales, then it will stop getting sales, or it will keep getting sales, but it will be more and more expensive because it'll get a little bit less sales, and then it starts continuing to be more and more expensive that way. Shoot, did I just do that? No, discard that. So basically, yeah, process of elimination of just trying and testing, constantly testing new audiences and new creative. And you can kind of see, it looks like they tried, you can kind of see just from the little thumbnail, just kind of get an idea. They tried a variety of different kind of types of creative, but maybe they could have been better. Maybe they should have been better. It's kind of hard to say. That's kind of weird. But so then I'll show you different ways of making these creatives once we get into that. But for the most part, this is basically ad sets. And then, so inside of here, so it's like each ad set is a different audience, right? One audience per ad set. And then your ad content, your ad should be related somewhat to the people, or to the audience. Like, so this is spas, people interested in spas, beauty salons, right? So that the image should be something that is closely relative to that. So obviously this is for acupuncture.
yeah.
So of course have an image of acupuncture, right? But there's a million different types of acupuncture images we could try. So they only tried 3, right? So we could take that same spas. So this is what I would do with this account, basically, is I would, because spas here is the best performing audience that we can see from the history of this account, I would just create a bunch more images and creative and run those and just continue to test new types of creative until something continues to just keep working without needing new creative, basically. If that's possible, sometimes it is possible, but usually it's not. That's kind of the game with running ads, is just constantly putting new ones up and taking ones that don't get any results down. That makes sense.
So you'll try to spend like less money on the new ones until you like know it kind of works better, and then
Correct.
you'll like spend a lot more money on the one that like works really
Correct.
good.
So if you had 100 images and you spent $100 on those images, you could run it. If you knew what your audience was and you could find it, then you could run it to that same audience, and within one day you would know which one of those images gets the most amount of clicks. That's basically CTR, which is click-through rate. CTR, click-through rate. So when the algorithm will continue to show your ad, it's based off the click-through rate. So if you have a high click-through rate, then that tells the algorithm people like this, right? They're engaging with it. So the more engagement the ad has on it, it tells the algorithm, signals that, hey, people want this, they like it, so let's keep doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's keep showing it. So let's look here at all of the ads, and we'll pull up their click-through rates. Sometimes, so you have these columns here, and the columns are all the data of Facebook, and you can very easily change these. They have pre-made settings you can do that show a bunch of different types of stuff. Like if you wanted to see performance and clicks, then you can turn that on, and then it has all these. But you can add any of these columns in here. So here's CTR, the percentage of impressions where a click occurred out of the total number of impressions. So 4 is great, right? Under 1 is shit. So like having a good, like 2's good. It will keep showing it, and then usually the higher the click-through rate, the better the ad performs.
And the click-through rate is like like the amount of times it gets shows, and then like the amount of people that click on it. The
percentage of impressions where a click occurred out of the total number of impressions. So 4%. So this has 652 impressions, and 4.1% of those 652 people clicked.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So then, now we know we can look and see at all of the ads, because if an ad has a high click-through rate, then it's possible that that piece, that image or that video just wasn't shown to a good audience. Maybe it just needs to be shown to a different audience. Like this ad has a high click-through rate, but for some reason it's turned off, right? But it only had 33 impressions. But still, out of 33 impressions, it got 1 click, so that's probably why it has a high. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it really is like this. The more impressions gives it more testing. So we really should look at the number of impressions, and so like look at how low these click-through rates. That's why this account is not doing better. If we can get these click-through rates higher, then it's possible. Then we'll get cheaper leads, more leads for the same. More cheaper leads basically, because we got to be over like 1, at least 1% for a piece of creative. Because it's just saying, half of, less than half. What is that? Less than 1%. So I don't know what that number is, but it's a pretty small number. It's right there, 175. Is that right? No, I think it's that one, 414, because it's based off of everything. And this is clicks, taps, or swipes. But I think there's link clicks, which is the number of clicks on links within the ad that led to an advertiser-specific destination. So I think link clicks actually goes to the website, and then clicks all is like maybe they clicked on your Facebook profile or your Instagram profile or something and kind of went from there, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
that is kind of that's kind of the game. So with ads, this was the most shown ad on this page, and so we got a couple things here. So what matters on an ad is it's being read from the top down. So when you look at a post, you're scrolling, and that's how your eye views it, is from the top down, right? Yeah. So you have the page name here, obviously, and then you have your text, which is your primary text right here. And you can see that somebody has to click see more to actually read all of this. Most people don't click see more.
Yeah.
See more butts. You know what I'm saying? See more butts. Paging see more butts.
I have no idea what that is.
See more butts? Like Bart Simpson would prank on the phone? Dang,
no.
dude.
I never watched Simpsons.
See more butts. Neither did I. My parents didn't let me. Anyways, so it doesn't really matter as much kind of underneath. Like the beginning part is the only thing that's shown in the ad.
Yeah.
Right? That's why I'm showing you that. All right, but then going down, so you can put in multiple different text that show up. So on Facebook, it shows up at the top, right? On Instagram, it shows up at the bottom. Okay. You can put in multiple ones, and then it will constantly just show a different variation of these. So you can see how there's a couple of different ones in there. And then the algorithm will decide. You can actually put more. You can put 5 in there total. And you can have different variations that are constantly shown with the one image. So the algorithm kind of is supposed to be rotating it and somehow figuring out which one is the best one to choose.
Well, like which layout is the best?
So it's only one image, but which text, which headline. So the headline's at the bottom here.
Yeah.
So which headline should go with which text, basically.
Okay.
It always is trying a different variation to see which one will get the most impressions, the most click-throughs, that type of thing. But sometimes it doesn't matter. What does matter is the beginning hook. So your headline, your beginning sentence, all this type of stuff. It's like it's, and all advertising is basically the hook. And on all social media, it's within the first like 1 second. So within the first really half of a second, when you're scrolling on your phone, within the first half of a second of seeing the ad, do you do something? Do you get hooked, basically, by this to stop?
To catch your attention.
To catch your attention, right? Have you seen any of these ads where it's like, it looks like just some random video from like it's America's Funniest Home Videos or something, and it's like somebody falling off something, and then all of a sudden it transitions into a real video of like an ad?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's the hook. And so the reason why they do that is to get you to watch it for 2-3 seconds. And then all of a sudden we're talking about mattresses or like some weird ad. I don't know. I've seen so many different people do the same thing. But that's the idea of a hook. So having something that draws people in, stops people. So like with images, like with this here, you know, it's a foot, it's acupuncture. There's not necessarily something of a hook. But if we found some acupuncture videos or when the AI video comes out, we can just make one. We can make a video of acupuncture being done close up on a foot.
Yeah. And
then use that as an ad. Boom, dude. That's how we're going to change the world. And that's coming around here pretty quick because it would be very expensive to make a high quality video of acupuncture on the foot, you know? Like, so to be able to make that with AI that actually looks good would be a big deal. But there are other ways of doing it to make images that are a little bit more something. And then we got this bro here.
That makes me want to click on it right now. I want to get acupuncture now.
I don't even know what's going on, dude. So that's part of the things. Is like some ads just suck. Like what is this guy selling, dude? He's selling me Kingwood, right? So if I didn't know anything and I just looked over, the first thing I think is Kingwood. What? I don't know what Kingwood is. What are you selling me?
That's not even the company.
Nothing is more important than your health. Cool. But what are you selling me? You know, acupuncture, I would have to read deeper into that. So they're trying to sell me acupuncture, but you got to show the needles. So we could make an ad for this and just to kind of show you some cool stuff. But I'm gonna restart a video and we'll get that into the next video, which will be all about ad creative creation, and then we'll get into like because it's coming up to 25 minutes. Yeah, then we'll start using AI, which will be really cool because there's a lot of AI image creation we can make, and then we'll use this as a great case study because this is exactly something that you could do for a local business. So you could find a local acupuncture person or like a local massage person or something related to like that. You could make images. You could approach them and be like, hey, I made these images for you. Would you want help with ads? I can get them ran for you as ads, etc. And people would be like, whoa, cool, dude. Yeah, how much? You're just a kid. And you'll be like, $1,000 a month.
And so do you make like commission, or
that would be the first thing is you would just say, pay me $1,000 a month and I will get ads running like I'm showing you here to the right location, right? If it's a local whatever business, you do it to the city and you try to target it to people that are interested in whatever the product is, and then make ads that actually look good, and then that's what you would get paid to do. Is to make that once, watch it, and then continue to make that again once the ads don't work anymore, like we were talking about.
What if you never like really get like a good like audience, like click-throughs, do they still pay you? Like
they'll still pay you. Well, so if you're getting paid to keep the ads running, then they'll have to still pay you because they need ads to keep running. But that's where it comes into like being good at ads versus not being good at ads, is being able to make ads that actually do start working, or be able to quickly figure out what it is that will work.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because no one knows. No one's smart in this. No, and if anybody is like, oh, I know how to do it exactly, it's like, bro, everyone's got to figure it out the same way. We have to test. We got to try different videos, different images, different audiences, and that's the only way to figure it out. You never know what's
really gonna hit.
You never know what's gonna get. Yeah, until it does. But you're never going to figure it out without testing. And that what I'm showing you is the framework, the kind of for testing. So we have these kind of 3 tabs. And then inside of the tabs, how do you actually frame it up to where you can kind of make sense of what's happening to keep testing so that everything you're doing in the past works towards the future, right? So like that's why we know for sure we run to the spa audience, and then it looks like it is, we could do a foot acupuncture. So I would want to make 10 different images that show acupuncture of a foot and see what we can do with AI with that, and then run those and test those to see if we can get better performance or whatever. And then for the other one, it would be, I think this is the IV therapy. Yeah, so for this one, it's IV therapy. And I already made some ads that we can run for this, and we can test that out. So we can make 2 different things. So we'll do that in the next video. High five. Woo! And we're live recording back again. It's me
and Brady.
With my nephew Brady. Okay, we're learning Facebook ads. We are now at the point of learning ad creation, how to actually create ads. So we're going to jump on over, and the first thing we're looking at is this local business, which is, if you remember where it is, you remember?
Kingwood.
Very good. Kingwood, Texas. And it's a acupuncture, chiropractor, I think they do IV therapy as well. So we're going to be making some ads for them. And we're going to jump into a really cool program called Ideogram.ai. And this is actually AI image creation. So I have made a bunch of these already to try to test this out and to basically figure out the formula. Dang it, I hope this is working. I think it is. So I'll edit all this, don't worry, watch this. There we go. When you clap, then when I edit the video, it'll show a big spike.
Yeah.
And then you know something's weird there, so edit it all out. Anyways, so I've tested this out, and as you can see on the screen here, these are all different types of images that the AI has made. Okay, but as you look closer, they're weird. Some of them are, well, that's actually the real one. Sorry, that's a real video. But some of them are really weird. The spelling gets weird. It like just what the heck is that? That's what's happening there, you know? What is going on here? What are these people doing? But though, okay, this is what we were talking about before, right? Which is we need that click-through rate. So this might get a click-through rate, but why does that cleavage look so weird? That's just, there's so many like weird things, but it could get the click-through rate that we actually want. So that's kind of the reason why it looks a little bit like that, because it's bold, it stands out. I mean, this is what real advertising really is creating something that's bold, that stands out, that really makes a difference in your scrolling and makes people want to stop scrolling, is more importantly. So what we want to do is, so I think I started this kind of, so you can kind of see what it was doing here. So this is the original one, and then, look at that. And so I took it and I put it in here, and I said basically, like, you can upload the image and it gives you a description of what it sees in the image. So it saw this, right? And then I just put that in there, and then it made these versions. So that one isn't that bad, but then what's going on here? I can't, that's like, what's happening? I'm not sure. That's just a jacked up foot, dude. What's
scary?
It's just scary. And that is, I don't even know what's happening there. So there's a million different things we can try to do. So basically we can take this prompt. Let's just try to take this prompt. So the prompt is a close-up of a person's foot undergoing acupuncture treatment. So let's just start with that and then see what happens. So you just put that in there, and you can make it be square, you can make it be vertical, you can make it be wide, 16:9, either way. And so then it's gonna render, and so then here we go. Where's the leg? That's so weird. That is weird too. This one is bad. Dang. So none of these are usable at all. Because why can't it do it normal?
Yeah.
All right. So we could try to put that prompt in and see what it says. Sometimes it can do people really well, but it kind of also maybe just can't do close-ups of feet. I haven't really come into.
I heard for hands too. It's
well,
like,
it did correct it, and it can do hands. It's just this is like it can't do anything right. That's so weird. Maybe let's try a close-up of a photograph of a person's back. Let's try that. Maybe because that's the thing with AI, which is, this is the most important, is it maybe there just isn't a lot of photos of feet having acupuncture done. Like I would assume there would be a lot of people's back having acupuncture done. Is like it, and so look, all the okay. I mean,
all these are like weird.
I mean, that one is kind of usable.
It's still like the arm.
Kind of, yeah. It's still a little jacked. So we can try again, and then if I run into dead ends, then I just try a different route. But there are other AIs that will make better kind of people, but this one specifically does the text as well.
Yeah.
So once I figure out, like that one,
It wasn't, but just like, where's the arm and the
where's the arm?
and like the thumb is all weird. Like,
oh, there's like 8 hands there. That's true. So, anyways, dang it. Dang it. Okay, maybe this one, even though they kind of look like a skeleton, like a lizard person or something. But that one's not that bad, right?
Yeah.
So let's put it on auto. If we can get it to produce an image that actually looks realistic, then we can tell it to put like a headline ad type of thing. And that's kind of the goal, is then to get text on there. And then to make a bunch of these images with text on it that hopefully look realistic. Dang it, dude. Why does it keep showing feet?
Maybe it's in the prompt.
Oh yeah. No, right? That's right. Wild support. That's so. If the prompt is weird, then the usually the photo.
Just random feet.
Delicate needles are very like a soft, diffuse light, pastry. A soothing music adds to the ambiance. Okay, we could probably take that out.
Yeah.
And then a seamless fusion. Let's just take that because that's kind of weird. But the descriptions do help, so maybe we could get a better prompt.
It was just
from
too
this.
weird.
But if you can see what I'm doing right now, like it would be so like you would have to buy stock footage or a stock photo, and you have to pay to use the rights to use that if you're gonna try to do like if you're gonna have a real photo of acupuncture. So these kind of look more realistic.
That is the third one.
Which one? This one, you think?
Yeah.
I don't even know what acupuncture needles look like, but
Yeah.
okay, so that looks pretty dope. So let's go with this one. And then we're going to say with the headline text that says I don't know, what are we going to say, bro? What does this say? Oh, that's for the IV drips. We'll just say acupuncture. Let's just do that. Let's just stay generic with that. And then we can build up. So we just want that type of image with the words acupuncture on it somewhere. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the most part, besides these weird neck wrinkles, that looks pretty accurate, right? So then acupuncture, Kingwood, Texas, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do 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 do. Oh man, I think this is on the. Hopefully not. Let's try it. Okay, so we can see here they still look kind of chill. Maybe this one looks a little bit weird, but then we got Kingwood, Texas in here, right? So then we could definitely save these and run these. I would probably want to
Clean it up.
I mean, which one looks the best? This one? In the
Except for
head.
this one in the head.
In the head. Is that a good spot?
Nah, heck no.
In the head? Which one? This one?
Nah, sure.
Okay. So let's... Yeah, we could save that one. And then we could... I'll just download that. Usually I just have a bunch of crap that I end up deleting. I pretty much download everything into my downloads folder. And then let's turn that on, and that should give us a little bit difference because it's going to force it to create a different prompt. So you can put a prompt in, and then the AI will make the prompt better for you, basically.
Okay.
So then so now we should get different variation, as you can already start seeing. So it should then, and then we can take that prompt, right?
Yeah.
So that's cool. Some cool. This is a cool one, kind of, but except for like this words here, right in your face hole. Jeez. What about this one?
Yeah.
What's going on there?
She got scratched.
Tiger scratches. What are they doing there? Putting needles in their skin?
I don't know. This just looks painful, but
Okay, let's try it one more time.
I wouldn't do this.
It's a little tough, bro. Yeah, cause if this it's a lot of needles. That was kind of cool. Does that look real? How many fingers? Nope. Look at that. Dang it. 6-finger giants. How many? What do we got here? Is that weird? That's kind of weird.
Are they like in his hand? I don't know.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I got one. This isn't working out too well. Maybe tranquil photograph captures the back of an individual receiving acupuncture detail. Okay, let's take out the detail of the needles and see if it just, because maybe that's messing it up. It's like
it's too like specific.
Yeah. Let's see what these look like. I mean, this is not bad.
Yeah.
Is that spelled right? I'm not a speller. I think let's just try that one. Let's download that one. Okay, and then let's just try this prompt. But see, the real key about this is you can hire someone. You can hire someone for $4 an hour.
What, from like
in like the Philippines
overseas?
Or Pakistan or like India.
Yeah.
And then they can just sit here and do this.
And you don't.
And then they can just make you hundreds of ad creative all day long, and then you just.
And is that what you do? You outsource it?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the idea. You want to do it yourself, learn how to do it. That looks much more realistic, doesn't it?
Yeah, that looks pretty good actually.
Yeah, even though this comma's weird, I'd still run it with the comma, even though it shouldn't be there. But there's a way I can fix it, and I'll show you in Canva, right?
Yeah.
So we can fix that in Canva. Whoa, bro.
It's pretty weird.
Well, I don't know what's going on there. That's just looks nice.
Yeah.
Just try that one. So as we made it, that's kind of funky there.
Yeah.
And whatever's going on there. All right, let's try one more round. And then we can run these and test them out. There's a couple different ways you can, some AIs we can use to turn them into videos as well. You might have seen a lot of those, I'm not sure, but, oh, look at that. That's kind of cool.
Dang, that's pretty sick.
But does that look real? Looks kind of weird.
Yeah.
This is just like a peekaboo hand. What's going on there? Your face again, dude. All right, let's just let's take out that and let's just hit him with the
But usually you're not doing this part.
In the beginning, I'll do it to figure out a prompt.
Yeah.
That then I can hand off to someone to continue to do.
Oh, like you'll write the prompt.
Yeah, like because this is part of the whole thing with AI is it's really all about finding a good prompt that continues to perform and work. So like really what I at a basic level just this should give us good results. A tranquil photograph captures the back of an individual receiving a traditional acupuncture treatment. All these photos should be totally real and usable. If they're not, then this AI is just cannot work for this. I mean, for the most part, yeah. That's that's great.
Yeah.
So I mean, stock footage like that would cost so much. What was this, Frankenstein? Like, that's all right. I mean, it's kind of a weird fan in the background, but okay, sure. There's a captured slave, or something. We could just do image. Try one more image. But this is really where you can get a lot of people to pay you, because making content is the biggest problem.
It's hard.
It's the number one problem that all businesses have, is they need content and they need it yesterday and they need a lot of it. So if you can actually make content that looks realistic, that is inexpensive, and you can do it pretty quickly, that's super valuable.
Yeah.
That's four. Looks good. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Super duper. But I can show you some different examples now. We did that. But so there's you can get it to do a bunch of cool stuff, like some of these that actually turned out, except for that dot right there. But it was like they're hungover.
She does look hungover.
Yeah, so it was like, that's why you get an IV, is because you're hungover.
Oh, yeah.
That type of thing.
Yeah.
So we could put like a little IV on here, or we could try to make some more. So a sleek modern advertisement. So if you see, what's cool is when you tell this to actually make an ad, because we didn't say make an ad in the last one. We just said a photo with this text on it, right?
Yeah.
But this kind of added these lines here, and like added these little arty bits to kind of make it look more like an ad. She's sitting on her couch with sunglasses on, while receiving a IV drip. We'll just see what that does. I don't know. Sometimes the IVs are like going into their faces and stuff. Okay. Not bad. Actually, not bad at all, mate. So,
do people actually do this?
Yeah, the IV thing.
It's
a new type of kind of business thing that's like popping off. Because it is, if you think about it, like when you go to the hospital and you're dehydrated, like that's the only thing that can immediately help you.
Yeah,
is doing an IV.
Yeah.
Right. So I will save these because I'm actually working on, for this client, I have this thing I'm working on here, which is an ad creative, like a bunch of different.
Oh, hella.
Yeah, but it's not that many yet. But I'm trying to get more in here. That any. So if you do IV therapy, you could use these.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you could download them because it doesn't have a logo on it.
Yeah. But so you can like use it for other companies.
That's what I'm trying to like get it to where anybody could just download them, because everybody needs content.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So like this one is that revitalize yourself with, and then it should say IV therapy, but we could write that in there. So I would save this one, take it over to Canva, ploop it into Canva right there, and then make it bigger. Whoa. And then what we want to do is edit it. Magic erase this little duper here.
Oh, I didn't
so
do that.
Okay, and then Zuby.
Dang, that's pretty cool.
Go. Get out of here.
Dang.
Gone. Right?
Pretty safe, yeah.
And then we want to add like IV. So I wonder if it, no. But let's just add those texts here. So we'll just grab this heading and we'll just say IV. And then we'll just make it white. And then we'll just try to find some weird font. Is that weird? Is that cool? Is that what looks close? That one? This one? There you go. A little bigger. Doesn't have to be. Who cares? You know?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Okay, and then we do, go down a little bit. So then measure that up. See, it's kind of will go a little bit bigger, up a little bit higher. And zoop. Right? Something like that.
Yeah.
And then we would download that little pepperoni as a pin. And that will download as a pin. And then we're going to upload into, dang it, where did it go? There we go. And then we're going to upload it into here, into our little doodly bop here. So then if there's other ones that are usable, I mean, this one's kind of cool. She looks kind of like
hungover.
And then it says IV, so I'll probably do the same thing with that one because I think that's cool. Then we'll take it into Canva.
And so you got this whole collection, are you gonna like start like emailing like IV therapy?
No, I'll tell you, this is one of my companies. That's what they do, is they actually put on conferences for IV therapy businesses and like holistic types of businesses. So businesses that do alternative medicine, IV therapy is one of them. Cryo freezing, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then also like red light therapy. They do. Do you know red light therapy much?
No.
Yeah, stuff like that. And then maybe like for women, there could be Botox.
Oh yeah.
There could be like other. That's more where it's like the aesthetic side.
But they use your like kind of formats and like images and stuff. And they can use it for those kind of companies.
Yeah. Ideally, I mean, because they offer all those services. So experience power of hydration. Well, that's great. So then we could save that one. But yeah, they have like maybe 60 businesses part of their membership program.
Really?
So this would benefit all of those businesses if they wanted to have
use some of these.
Yeah, to have.
But they would have to ask you to like use them or like.
No, this would be part of their membership, is they would get access to this ads library.
Oh.
And it would just it's just creating more value to like.
Yeah.
Because if you could just download these and post them and use them as ads,
it's like really quick. Like you don't have to like.
Yeah, you don't have to think about it. You already know it's already made for your biz.
Yeah.
Because it's just like so if you could create ads. That's what I was saying. You could create ads for businesses, and then go to them and be like, "Hey, you can have these for free. You want more? Come back to me, and you be the drug dealer, the ad dealer."
Ad dealer.
No, but straight up, because every business needs this type of ad created for them, and for a graphic designer to do what I just did in one click of a button in a couple sentences talking to you, like to make an ad that looks like this,
it would take them forever.
Dude. Like, like to make,
like
that's great.
That's pretty sick.
That's dope. That's hella dope, dude.
Into the library.
So then you just into the library.
No, yeah, it's pretty easy.
Okay, and then we just keep plooping and duping. And then some of these are
and just the hardest part is just coming up with the good prompt.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of cool. But let's see if we can. I pushed that prompt for that one on there. Like this one for sure, whatever this prompt is, it would probably work really well. So I could keep running that one. Because that's good. Like the bigger the text and the bigger the striking image, the better. And most of these clinics are going to be like women for the most part is there. So. We'll try one more. See, there's a bunch more other ones I tried, and then there's a bunch more different types of different types of businesses. There's all. Oh, that's for a sorry. No, that's a real product.
It was forgot.
It was a lubrication, dude.
Oh, that's kind of crazy.
It's a lubrication. Look at that, dude. That's crazy. It's for if you're menopause. If you go through menopause as a woman and you start getting dry down there, it's a pill you take, and those were the ads I was making.
It's like old ass ladies.
Pretty much. And then this is like a back pain. ad.
You see these commercials all the time.
Yeah. But
And
look
they're
at
just,
that.
like,
Back pain. Look at that.
They're like playing with the frisbee or something.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's a real picture. This was just like a conference.
Dang, so you use this all the time.
Yeah, just trying different ideas because you need a lot of different creative to like really test and figure out, and then trying to figure out what AI can do. Because if you can make stuff like this, like a graphic designer, they can't to find these images like this.
They just look so happy.
I know, right? To make people look so hype like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, it takes a little. It would cost a lot of money otherwise.
And so they're kind of screwed. Like graphic designers, like they're
come
out
on,
of business.
Dude. They can't. I mean, how could they compete with this?
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't know about this. Like a lot of people don't use AI. A lot of people are scared of it. They just have no clue. Like, which
this is like a huge opportunity. Right?
Yeah. This is a major one right here. I mean, you could with Hustle. You could go and just make a bunch of ads for companies all day long. What's going on there? Her hand turns into like robot. All right, so we will go and where'd that go? Let's run some ads. So the first thing that I'll do here is in the ad. So what is actually working, and so where is all of the kind of other types of ads? So this is spas. This is all of the IV, right? So we know this one for sure is getting leads for IV. So what I'll do is take this here, click edit, and then that's it there. So I'll just duplicate the same ad set. So now we have ad spas copy, right? But I will date it. Always want to date it so you know how fresh, how long it's been running. So then in a couple of days I can go back, in a month I can go back, I can know these things. And then basically just keep everything the same except for the image. So I'm going to go in here and grab, upload those images I downloaded wherever they are, which is in downloads. Where'd they go? Okay, so this one. I could have uploaded them all at once, but whatever. And then put that one in there. We gotta do this, gotta do that. And then cool. Okay, so great. I would say, does that say IV therapy? IV, it needs to say IV therapy. Whoa. schedule a just add that into there since that's a little bit more of a bonus since that's kind of the game, right? So then we're going to go back in here and where's the image? All right, so we're going to delete the image. Oh wait, shoot, but I just changed all that copy. So I'm going to delete all of these. Okay, and then delete. And then, because I want to make sure I use the copy, so I just changed the copy on this and made it all say IV. So then we're going to duplicate that again. And then we're going to add our new image. And I'm going to upload all of these images. Did I add those? Yeah. But let's just stick to the IVs for now. Okay, so it should upload all of those. Maybe it's just going to do one. There we go. It uploads them all. Sweet. Oh, it did two. Okay, so I guess it doubled up. Anyway, so let's do this one. And then...
And her dress looks like messed out though. Doesn't it?
Looks a little weird.
Yeah.
We'll just see what happens. Is that like her vagina? Jeez.
I was like, I don't know if you want to run that.
Let's it could get the clicks. What's going on here? Oh my gosh. Okay. Dang it. Okay, maybe we can't run that one. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Okay, we can do this. No, that's the wrong one. This one. Okay. So we'll just run these two for now, just to test it out, and then we can come back tomorrow and check on it.
Oh, you're actually gonna actually run it?
Yeah, let's run it, bro.
And it says so it has the projections. It's like in one day I'll get like 400 hits.
So let's see. So we got an audience here of about almost 40,000.
Oh wow!
And we will reach about 600 to 2,000 people. We're gonna spend $10. So one thing is you want to try to run your ads starting at the beginning of the day tomorrow. So if I were to spend $10 and I started my ads at noon, it would spend the whole $10 from noon to midnight versus spending my whole $10 from midnight to midnight. Right?
Yeah.
So you always want to try and start your ads at midnight as close as possible. So we'll schedule it for that. And then the targeting is going to be what is targeting before: beauty salons, day spas, all that jazz. And then we'll run these two ads. And we will test out what will happen.
And the company doesn't have to approve it. You can just run it.
Approved. I approve it.
Oh, you approve it.
I approve this message. I am the company. No, this is a franchise of one of the companies I work for. So one of the companies I work for, they have 4 businesses.
Okay.
So this is one of them. And because this isn't super weird, it's not crazy whack, there's no reason why they would say no.
Okay.
Maybe if there was a weird vagina shot or something, that would be a little risque. But because it's legit, and also because this text has already been used, so I know for sure they already approved that, right? They already know for sure, hey, so I'll just reuse that and then the image. And then we'll see if this performs better. So then we got to publish it again. Sometimes it needs, I don't know why it needs me to double publish. But then you just try to push it to get published. It will go into a processing mode and then into a review mode. And then usually it doesn't take that long to clear review. Sometimes videos can take longer. Like if you have an hour-long video, maybe it can take longer to actually work because it's an hour-long video. You know, somebody's got to watch it, or the algorithm's got to, or the AI is got to watch it. So then we will check back in. Oh, there you go. So it looks like, no, it's still processing. And then it's scheduled. So then it will, whenever it gets approved, it will just automatically start running tonight's at midnight.
All right.
So that is ideogram and ad creation. Probably the most advanced ad creation on the planet Earth.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Fantastic. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you in the next video. Bye. Feels like his hair. Ladies. Hey, ladies.
Put it in the comments.
Yeah. Okay, here we are again with Bray Dan, my nephew, and I am teaching him Facebook ads. So we're going to jump right over into it. And what we're looking at today is strategy. What is the strategy? So we previously covered the foundations of campaigns, ad sets, and ads, right? You remember all of these. Do you have any questions about any of these formats or formulations?
Nope.
Very good, because you took excellent notes. So now what we're looking at is the strategy that you want to do once you kind of understand these three levels, how they kind of work. So the first strategy we're going to talk about is called CBO, Campaign Budget Optimization, okay? And so what this means is the campaign, on the campaign level here, okay? You can see that it says budget. So the budget for this right now is $1,851.50 daily, okay? So this means on the campaign level, the algorithm is going to automatically distribute this amount of money daily to the ad sets inside the campaign. So now we're inside the campaign, and the ad sets are 4 different ad sets with 4 different audiences. Theoretically, you could do more ad sets, but what is the key here is this money being spent here. So we have almost $5,000 being spent. This is being automatically distributed. Distributed. You're in college.
Yeah.
I didn't go to college. This is automatically being distributed to whatever it wants to during the day. So like basically whatever is performing the best. So if we look at yesterday, you can see it spent most of its budget here on this audience, the Instagram lookalike audience, right? Versus this one here, which it spent most of it on, well, the same Instagram lookalike audience, okay? And then let's see, did it do it again? The same Instagram lookalike audience. So, but at the same time, it is spending the most money on that, but it's also not performing as well as these other ones, because this is a 2.14 versus like a 10, you know what I'm saying? Which is like a lot different, obviously. So, what the campaign budget optimization does is, I'll show you right here. It says it right here, campaign budget. You turn it on, and then you set the amount that you want to spend, and it will automatically deliver budget across the ad sets depending on your performance, goal choices, and bid strategy. So this will be probably used. You could try it day one. If you had a brand new ad account, if you met a business brand new, you could probably try the strategy to where you have one campaign, you have 4 different ad sets. Each ad set is a different audience. So this would be mothers. This is Instagram lookalike. So people that are similar to who follows on Instagram. This is health and fitness types of people. And then this is more lookalike audiences. So people that are similar to people that have engaged. You could do that, and then inside of each ad set, like there's one ad in this. I'll show you a better breakdown structure here. So this is the main campaign. So we have one ad set that has 3 ads in it. We have one ad set that has 1 ad in it. We have another ad set that has 4 ads in it. And then we have another one with 4 ads. It's probably, you could probably put 5 ads per ad set per audience in here. So this whole strategy is campaign budget optimization. And the goal here is to try to give the algorithm as much possible room to use, to work, right? So you're giving it on the campaign level. Now, this is probably in a comparison or a juxtaposition, I would say, of a different strategy, which I'm trying to show you here, which is the next strategy would be ABO, so ad set budget optimization. And that's where you can see right here where it says budget and it says using ad set budget right here, right? So what that means is, let's find one that's spending a lot. Oh, that's because we need to change the date. There we go. Okay, so this one spent a lot. And so this one only had 1 ad set, but the strategy they were doing on this, which I do not recommend, is they had 1 ad set that they kept on changing the budget. So they did it like manually, and you can see here it never really got higher than 2.66 in the return, right? So they only had 1 ad set, budget optimization, and then they would put in like 1 million ads inside the ad set. There's like 20 ads, 50 ads. I have never seen anyone run a campaign like this, to be honest. I was amazed it worked, but to be honest, it doesn't work that well because it never really got above 3 in the ROAS. And you always gotta, 3 is the goal, bare minimum. So I don't recommend doing this strategy, which is you have ad set budget optimization, so the budget is controlled by the ad set, and then you have 1 billion ads inside the ad set, and then you are constantly turning ads off and then adding new ads in over time based off of what happens. I don't think like this one worked out pretty well, but it's not the best compared to what does work, which is the campaign budget optimization. I don't know why these stats don't show up here yet, but because out of the gate we have a double the amount of ROAS that we've been able to reach in this whole account. We've doubled the ROAS. We've doubled the return of ads just within the couple days of running this campaign than the whole history of the whole account, which is a pretty big deal for this company because that's a lot more money, and they were actually trying to figure out, how do we scale? What are we going to do? Right? So we tried all of these so when I came in here, anything that has a date like that, right? I made these campaigns. And what I tried to do is they had these other campaigns like this one, because there's a lot of money spent on that one. They had that running for a long time, and it was, see, the return is only 2.65. Some of their campaigns, like this one, was almost 5, which is pretty good. They spent 50 grand on that one. That's pretty good. This is the maximum time frame, by the way, so it's the total amount. But they could never consistently keep kind of launching them, and that was mainly because their structuring of their campaigns was ad set based budgets. So they had this one was actually a campaign CBO, because you can see it says budget right here, and we're on the campaign level. And so but because this one only had 1 audience in it, right? So the algorithm didn't have enough to work with inside of this because there was only 1 ad set. So when running a CBO, a campaign budget optimization campaign, you really need multiple ad sets with different audiences to give the algorithm enough room to breathe, room to make it happen. So that would be the structuring of the ads in the campaign and the differences between how to actually structure them, and then how to spend your money. So when you're starting out though, in a new account, I would do it like this. So these are all different tests that I ran to try and figure out so I went in here and I found all the ads that were the best performing ads over here, right? And then I ran them to different audiences that I think would be probably the best possible chance of a good performing audience. And all of the ads were ran to this different audiences to figure out which ad was going to be the best ad. And it is the same ad, and then to which audience. So I kept on, but this is all on ad set level because I wanted to constantly be testing different ad sets. So I probably could take this and run it as a campaign budget, which would then change the way this money is sent to these ad sets. Does that make sense? It's just giving the algorithm more control, right?
Because there's more audiences.
There's more audiences, and you're not restricting it. You're not saying you can only spend this much on this audience. It's saying, hey, if this audience works better, you can spend as much as you want onto it.
It like reallocates the money, like
reallocates. That's a better word. My brain hasn't turned on yet today. So yeah, reallocates it based off of what it sees performing best. So that's why campaign budget does work. But in the beginning, to test out, to figure out what videos, what images actually work, you got to run a bunch of tests at a low level, at a low budget. So that won't necessarily work as well with a campaign budget level strategy. Ding, 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 ding. That's basically the structuring strategy inside the campaign. So if you were to come into a campaign to look at it, those are the two basic things that you would be looking at. The campaigns that are CBO, campaign budget optimization, and then the campaigns that are all being spent by the ad set. And then it's constantly trying to consolidate the best performing ads and the best performing audiences. You always want to consolidate. We're constantly trying to consolidate those together and then give the algorithm more room to perform to those, to run ads to those audiences and to those creatives. Make sense?
Yeah.
Super duper. Trying to think of other strategies. I mean, there's different other strategies we can get into, but as far as a structure of like what would you do, that would pretty much be it. So as far as creating a campaign from scratch, there's a couple things you could do. You could start one from scratch, which I usually don't do that much because I'll just replicate things. But if we were to take this one, for example, and I would hit duplicate right here, duplicate without the current, I don't want, because they're going to always try to give me optimizations that are usually crap and waste my money. So I always try to do things manually. But what I want to do here is turn this on to a campaign budget optimization and then see what happens running all of these ads as a, because I know this kind of performed last time, but I didn't run it. Just making sure these are all on. Since I already built this out, so they're already all in here. So there's 3, see, they're all the same ad. You can take so this right here. So every individual post on Facebook has its own individual ID, and it's called a post ID. So if you make an ad, you can theoretically, not theoretically, you can. So you see how there's a lot of social proof right here? This is where we get deeper into the psychology of the ad strategy, where we were just talking about the structuring of the campaigns, of how to structure on this platform when you're running ads. There's different structures for different platforms, right? But the psychology of advertising is pretty much the same on any platform, on any advertising. It's just human psychology. Like, what makes a difference to you when you see an ad. So one of the biggest things that makes a difference is social proof. So if an ad has 200 likes, if it has 16 comments and 9 shares, it automatically tells you when you look at it, other people like this, right? I'm not the only one. So it already has more credibility basically in the potential person's mind to purchase, because it has that built-in credibility without them even knowing about it. So when we can reuse a post, we can get the post ID of the individual ad, and we can use that exact same post so that we don't lose the comments and the likes and the shares. They stay on it because we're using the same one with the same ID for a bunch of different audiences. So the goal that you could do, some people call it an everlasting ad, is you find one piece of creative that works, that has good copy, text on it that works, that has a good headline that works, and then you just keep trying to reuse that, but reuse it with the post ID so you keep the social proof, and you just keep running it to audiences until you just can't find an audience basically that it works for anymore. But the social proof does make a big difference in when people buy things. You know, that's why you always see reviews, and there's always a bunch of different stuff about social proof and why it matters, and it really does. So you always want to try to reuse posts as much as possible if you can. All right, so we're gonna turn all of these on because I just want to see. I just want to see what happens if we run all of these to these audiences on a CBO. That's just $100 a day. So we're just going to run that. Whoa, did I just break the internet, dude? Did we do it? Did we break it? No. Okay, so then you have to hit publish probably like a million times sometimes to actually get ads launched. But I actually want to change this date here. So what's the date today? 6/11/24.
It's the 18th.
Oh, whoops. What am I looking at? Hello. That's it. Yeah. Then you gotta wait for it to publish. Usually it does take some.
And so you're just you're publishing the whole campaign right now? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna publish the whole campaign that I ran before.
Yeah.
At an ad set level, budget optimization. Try it at a campaign level, and then after like a day or so, we'll see.
So how is this different from what you did before? Because you said you already ran this, so you just ran it
so
again.
now the algorithm will have more flexibility over which audience. I ran it as individual audiences, so I told it
individual ad sets.
Yeah. I said, hey, you can only spend $20 per ad set a day.
Yeah.
Versus we're gonna say you can spend $100 a day on these 6 different ad sets that are different audiences. And if you want to spend 100 on one, that's fine.
Oh, because if the other ones like don't work initially, like
day,
within like the first hour or something.
And working is based off of like click-through rates. It's looking at like if an ad is shown to a person and they stop, they click, then it's going to keep showing to that type of audience.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's the engagement of the ad that it's constantly rearranging to. So if the algorithm has more flexibility to do that when there is that engagement, then that is the way it works. So then we'll see that will be in a review state, and we'll see what happens with that one. But that would be the basic two. We'll get into more kind of psychology of advertising and things like that later, because that is different. But just as far as structuring campaigns, getting campaigns ran, what types of structures should you use? In the beginning, use a ad set level optimization for your budget. Do it at as many ad sets at as low budget as possible, with as many different audiences, with as much as different creative as possible. And then you can find out what creative and what audiences get the most clicks. And then you can start spending more money on ones that actually work. That is the basic of kind of like campaign structure strategy. So we'll check some stuff out in the next videos. But otherwise, do you have any questions? Q&A time there, Brighton?
So for bidding, so they spend more like for the campaign budgeting, they spend more money on one, but I just don't get it. How does it go? How does it go up in price? Like if it's like more popular, it'll go up in price because it's like more in demand, like the audience.
Yeah, if that audience is basically
if it's hitting more,
clicking more on the ads that day for whatever reason at those times, then it's going to constantly keep showing to them. That's how the algorithm, the basics of the algorithm is what pieces of creative get people to stop and click. And it was going to keep showing those pieces of creative to that audience that do that.
But if the audience gets more clicks, does that mean the price goes up? I don't get how they do the pricing.
It will spend more to show more. So you're spending more to show more.
Oh, to go to more of that same audience?
Yes. So like right now, I'll show you here. So right now in this campaign, it costs $20.39 to show ads to 1,000 people that are similar to people on the Instagram for this account. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I don't get how they how are the prices different for each one? Is it like the prices are more expensive if it's like a bigger audience?
No, it's all based off of the engagement of the audience with your creative. So if there's not a lot of people clicking on these audiences, the cost for CPM would be like $70.
If there's not a lot of people clicking, then the cost goes up?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because it's not good. So it's just it costs you more because why does Facebook have ads?
Oh, cost per impression.
Yes. So Facebook has ads because they want to improve their user experience somewhat. So if an ad is being ignored, it doesn't improve the user experience.
Yeah.
If it only improves the user experience if people engage with it. So then if you have something that's engaged, you want to show that to more people. So they make it cheaper for you to show it to more people if you give content that's engaging.
They're like incentivizing better
because
content.
that's what better content gets incentivized because that is what makes that's what the platform is. And so then that's relative though to each platform. So TikTok, their content's a little bit different than Instagram maybe and Facebook. So the type of content you put on there is relative, and so they will reward for that. YouTube, a little bit different type of content, but it's the same idea as algorithm. So they want you to give good content that isn't annoying and isn't obtrusive to the user when they're scrolling by. Yeah. So that's why those cost differences change, and that's why when you find a good audience, it stays relatively the same in the cost, but it will keep spending more money and keep making more money.
Okay.
Because it could keep spending more money, but not making more money because it's trying to reach the audience, but the creative is not engaging with the audience. So it still keeps trying to spend, but it gets more and more expensive because the creative doesn't engage. So the less engaging, the more expensive.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's kind of on you then.
That's the job.
And then if you get more engagements, the price goes down.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
But then it goes up if you want to push it out to more people.
No, you just spend more and then you'll reach more. But the price will, if it stays engaging, then that's the goal. Is to find creative that stays engaging enough to where if you spend twice as much, it doesn't cost twice as much to reach those people. It still costs the same.
It's the same rate.
But you can reach twice as much for the same price.
Okay.
Right? That's what the CPM is. So $23 compared to $38 is a big difference on how much it costs to reach 1,000 people.
Yeah.
So we want to create creative that stays at that same CPM when we're spending $3,000 a day, $5,000 a day. The cost per impression, we want it to stay the same. And the only way it stays the same is
Lots of engagement.
Yeah, on the actual creative or whatever. And that could be lots of comments, or it could just be every time 1 in 5 people that see it click on the ad, and then it's like, oh wow, this is a great ad.
Okay.
You know,
cool.
Super duper great questions. All right, well, we're gonna take a little break here. Here we go. See you in the next video. Do you want to say anything?
See you in the next video.
Bye. Okay, here we are back when we're here with my nephew Brady doing it. And what we're going to do is learn Facebook ads, and we're going to jump right into the ads. And today we are looking at the ad creative strategy. So what is a strategy for ad creative that works in any account, works in any type of business? Okay. And the first thing we want to look at is changing what we're looking at. Is that recording? Hello? Why is it not? It's the wrong window, bro. Hello? Hello? What's happening? All right, never mind. Stop. Okay, we're back. Here we are. We're learning Facebook ads. I'm with my nephew Brady in here. What's up? Okay, we're learning Facebook ads. So we're going to switch over right into Facebook ads. And what we're looking at in this video is the ad creative strategy. So what is it that you need to create for your ads that is the best strategy? What is it you really need to focus on? Okay. And so the first thing we're going to look at is click-through rate, CTR, which is the percentage of impressions where a click occurred out of the total number of impressions. Okay. So if this got, where's my impressions? 600,000, 59, 223,000 impressions, 6% of them clicked, which is a very high click-through rate, very good click-through rate. So we're looking at based off of the amount of impressions. So because of that, most likely these ads are going to be working really well. And then if we just take a look at actually what the ad is, we can see why it has a high click-through rate. I mean, I don't actually know. I mean, it's nothing's that engaging about it, but for whatever reason, it does have a click-through rate. I know there's other ads in here we can look at that are different pieces of creative, which are a little bit more expressive in. There's possibly there's a face in this one, so but still very high click-through rate for the amount of impressions. They have even better ones too, but for the most part, they're just really engaged with the audience. There's not really any tricks or anything. See, there you go. There's a lot of ads try to use tricks in order to actually have click-through rate that actually make a difference. And see, there's no tricks or anything. You're not trying to hack the system. So these are just, they work for the actual individual audience, which is great. Let me see if I can find another ad account here. So in this ad account, we're looking at click-through rates still. Let's find those. Different type of e-commerce business, completely different level of ad spend. Their spend is way different. So you can see, look at these click-through rates. 1, right? There's no 6s, there's no 7s, right? Let's just go back here. Look at that. 6, 4, 6, 13, 6, right? And look at how many clicks, lots of clicks, right? And then here we got our click-through rate, and we're almost the same amount of clicks here. 58,000 clicks. This one had or 40,000, but the click-through rate was way higher, right? So that tells the algorithm, keep this ad running, right? You keep showing it to more people. Don't make it more expensive to show it to people because people like this ad. So this is good for us and good for the advertiser, right? So that's why your creative really makes a big difference, and then also who the creative is made for and is seeing it, the audience you select inside of that, which would be in the audience strategy. So we'll get into that in a different section, different video, because audience strategy is a much more convoluted process. But the basics of these ads is let me see if I can find this here. Something here which was pretty cool. The click-through rate also is kind of like for a video, a hook rate. See if I can find it. There is a hook rate in here. Let me pull it up here. So basically, the first couple seconds of a video is what matters the most. There it is. And what we want to figure out is what videos hook people in. So hook rate is 3-second videos divided by impressions. So a 3-second video play divided by the amount of impressions is the hook rate. So if a video has a high hook rate, then that would be really good, right? Hold rate, which is through plays are 15 seconds watching a video. So through plays divided by, so that would be what is the percentage of people that kept on watching past 3 seconds all the way up to 15 seconds, right? So hook rate matters the most because when you're writing for ads, you really do need to write specifically to engage people, to open people up, to get people to stop, to listen, to pay attention to what you're doing. All this type of stuff, which makes a big difference. So having your hook rate, I'm just trying to find one better example if there's anything, but there isn't quite anything that I can see. Having a very solid hook rate makes a very big difference in how your ad will be effective. So most likely in these other accounts here, this hook just sucked for people. Like, people didn't like this. That was just it. They just didn't like that. So there's just nothing you can do about it. Whatever. Yeah, other than that, for ad strategy, we can go a lot more into creating ads and stuff like that, but that's I think a whole separate video as well, because the way that you create ads is a lot different. I think it's more important to understand what these metrics are inside of the ad creative here and really what does make a difference. Because if you're going to spend most of the time just looking at this silly board and all this information and trying to make heads or tails of it, you know what I'm saying? So it's just coming in here and being like, oh, okay, I filter by impressions because that's the most viewed ad in the whole account, right? And then from there, looking at everything else. So, I mean, the account really does, compared to these other ones, it's way better, isn't it? But they also have spent $700,000, and this account has spent only 200,000 less. Dang. So what does that tell you? Two different accounts, only $200,000 difference in the spend between them, but one account really sucks.
Them are just like better everything. Ads and
yeah, that's really it. It's just better ads all around, right? That's the only difference. The better creative, because this is what tells you is the click-through rate, CTR. If that is high, then you know the creative and the ads are good. If they're not, then they're just not good for that audience. It's just either a bad audience or 100% a bad creative. You know what I'm saying? So that would be ad strategy, like stats mainly in here, what we're looking at, what these columns are. If you click down here, you can go into customize your columns, and then you can arrange these any way you want to, and you can add different stats. But really, like, kind of looking at the data here is the most important thing, and understanding what the algorithm values as the most important data. So impressions, as they love impressions, and then click-through rate would be probably the next thing after, as far as it engaging with the ad, saying, hey, this ad is good, this ad is bad, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying, man? Any questions? No. Well, we did it. Another one. Down the drain. Ad strategy. Okay, bye. All right, we're back. I got Braden. He's falling asleep, dude. But we making that money, learning that stuff, okay? I'm teaching him Facebook ads, and we're going to jump right into it. And what we're talking about here in this video is the audience strategy for Facebook ads, which is very, 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 very important. And there's different strategies for different levels of where you're at in your Facebook ads based off of if you're just beginning, if you're trying to scale, or if you already are scaling and going even bigger. So we're in what is called the audience section. You can find it in your settings, and it's just called audiences, okay? And I'll show you the other place that this is accessible when you're actually creating ads. But inside of here, you click create audience, okay? And then you have 3 different audience types that you can create. So the first one is a saved audience, which is commonly used for targeting options for easy reuse, like demographic, interest, behaviors. So these are things that you constantly are targeting if you wanted to save it. I don't use that really as much. Custom audiences is 100% what we're going to do. And then you turn custom audiences into a lookalike. So a lookalike is people who are similar to audiences that already exist. And what's important about lookalikes is the best lookalikes are constantly being refreshed. Okay, and that's very important. For a lookalike to really be good, it needs to be based off of a source that is constantly being refreshed. What that means is, so your best lookalike audience should be your purchases. So the purchase event that fires on your pixel, you can tell Facebook to create a lookalike audience based off of that event, which would then go and find people that are similar to who purchased from you, right? That makes sense? Yes, it does. So now, when we go into audiences, there is many different strategies we can do. And what you want to do is create individual audiences for every type of instance and engagement that anyone can have with your brand, okay? So the most common ones are going to be website, where they're going to be video. It's going to be lead form if you're running ads for leads. Shopping, not so much. Your Facebook page for sure, your Instagram account. And then customer lists, we have some special circumstances for customer lists that it actually works really well. So the first one would be website. So if you click on website, inside of here, it creates an individual audience based off of whatever settings and parameters that you want. But what we want is for each of these events that happen on our pixel, right? You can see we have page view, view content, add to cart, initiate, checkout, search, purchase, add payment info. These are all individual events that can be an individual audience. So if you think about it, you can have an individual audience of page views and an individual audience of purchases. So then you can run ads to people that see your page views, right? That visit your page, but then exclude people that purchase. So no one will see that ad if they have purchased from you, but then if they visit your page, they will see it. Does that make sense? Yeah. Right? So you can create individual audiences that way. So we already have these created down here. That's why I'm not going to do it. So you can see right here, we got page views, which is from the last 180 days. So anyone that's in this audience has visited the website in the last 180 days, right? And then we have a lookalike audience here of the same thing. So this lookalike audience is, well, it's just the name. I guess it doesn't show me that. Just know it's over there. It's based off of the purchases. So basically, it's going to be 2.2 to 2.3 to 2.7 million people, 100% based off of the purchases. So it's going to try to find 2.3 million people that are supposed to be similar to who purchased from your website. So the more purchases you have, the better that data, the better those that actually 2.2 million people will be, right? Because it's basing it off of a small amount of people that you have, and then trying to find as many similar matching points to that. So that's why lookalikes are super important and super powerful. So inside your custom audience sources that you can create. So your website, anybody that goes to your website and does anything, that would be really retargeting is what that's called, or remarketing, where someone visits your website and then an ad follows them around the internet, right? That's how you can set that up. The other things would be anyone that watches your videos, and depending on what type of business you have, it might be actually something that would be a good strategy, is anyone that watches a video, you can create an audience based off of how long they watch the video. So if you want to get someone to watch a video, you can keep sending them that video as an ad until they've watched 95%, and then they're never seeing that ad again, right? Or 75% or 50%. So a lot of times if you have an ad or video and people watch the whole thing, it's really cheap to get people to watch a video. I've actually ran it to where for an hour-long video, I could get, it was like 10 cents to get someone to watch a 1 hour long video. A whole hour for 10 cents. Yeah. So you can do a lot with that. There's a lot of different stuff that you can do. And then the same thing is you can create lookalike audiences based off of the same. So you can, anyone that watches 95% of your videos, you can create a lookalike audience based off of that, and then run ads to them. There's a million different kind of like different strategies you can do there. But building these different audiences out based off of levels of engagement and things that people do. So for a local business, if you had a really cool video, you could just try to get as much video views as possible. And then if people watch the video longer, most likely they're interested. Why would they sit there and watch an ad unless they're like high or something, I don't know. So, and then from there you can do like Facebook page. So, or Instagram account is pretty much the same thing. Anyone who's engaged with your page, anyone who's visited your Facebook page, anyone who's clicked on a call to action button on your page, anyone who's sent your page a message, anyone who's saved a post that has to do with your page, whether they've seen an ad or something like that. Each one of those can be an individual audience that you can run individual ads to, that you can exclude from ads if you don't want them to see certain things. So there's like a million different audience options that you can do as far as strategically picking which ads are seen to which people, etc. The same thing with Instagram account. You can do all of these things based off your Instagram account. And then the last one I would say is this customer list. And I actually have a different account which I'm using this. So what I did is I bought a list from the internet, which is an email list of all of the businesses in the United States that are all medical spas. Okay. And I took that list and uploaded it here. And then now I'm running ads to only that list. It's not going to 100% match though. It's like 50% match maybe.
So people that like run these spas, or people that
owners. Yeah, it's their contact information. Yeah, their emails, their phone numbers, all of that. So it's trying to get those owners' attention basically, because you can't necessarily target those people with like just targeting of different ads and stuff, which we'll get into after this, because that's a different way of that would be interest-based audience targeting. We're talking about custom audiences. So this is all the custom audience way, and uploading a list of email addresses that you find is the ultimate custom audience you could create, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're trying to reach all of the anything, salons, any sort of business, and you want to try to reach them with ads, you can buy a list of them, download it from anywhere, pay $100 or something, and then upload it and run ads to them. Nobody's gonna stop you. Okay, so that is custom audience targeting, and now actually we can go back and it's the same thing, and then I'll show you where custom audiences, and then now we're going to look at the actual interest-based audiences. So inside of saved audiences, this is the exact same. When you are creating an ad, you have a section that's called this, and it looks exactly the same. So then in here is where you can look for a bunch of different stuff. So it's all interest-based, non-alcoholic, let's say. Oops. Okay, so everything's in the way. And then you could exclude, well, we'd want to exclude actually no one here. We want to exclude it up here. So we want to exclude anytime we run ads, we want to find, so our purchases, right? We want to exclude anyone that has purchased from us, because we only want our ads running to new people.
That's a waste of money if they get the same thing.
Yeah. We already have them as a customer, so we can email them, things like that. There's other ways that are cheaper to reach them to try to get more sales from them. So, and then that way it only goes to new people. So you always want to exclude purchases. And then down here, you can try to choose different audiences. Now, when it comes to, well, we got to take that off and I'll show you. So right here, it's 18 million to 22 million people in this one audience. And realistically, that's a bit too big. Some people would think like, oh, let's have a huge audience, right? Let's have a really huge, the biggest audience. Let's have 100 million people. Let's have all of America. Well, that's just super broad, right? So we want it to be pretty big, like around 5 million is the audience size. 1 million is the minimum. You have to have an audience at least of 1 million to have anything sort of work. But you don't want it too big so it's not too broad. So non-alcoholic is a bit too big, so we could chop it down even more into maybe like mixed drink, because it could be a certain type of non-alcoholic drink, right? And then that takes it down to, it shaves off a couple million. Okay, and then you can keep narrowing down basically forever. You can keep just kind of like, we could do beers. Well, will it let me? Oh, it won't let me in this. But anyways, well, no. Oh, that's exclude. There you go. That's what I want. Beer? Hello? There we go. Okay, so then beer, and then there, so it's gotten smaller and smaller. So we would keep basically adding on different options to narrow down.
And do you try to make it like as specific as possible?
Yeah, more and more. So beer, and then what else? I mean, we could just put that in and see what it says. Maybe, I don't know, Corona. I mean, we can make an ad that's more specific towards Corona. So now that's 1.8 to 2 million. So we know, so if I was to make ad creative for this, I know these people are interested in non-alcoholic, they like beer, and they like Corona. So I would want to make my ad somehow related to Corona. So if we had a non-alcoholic Mexican style beer, that I would want to run that ad to these people, right? Because I know for sure that they're going to be interested in that, at least to try to figure it out. So this would be interest-based targeting, Whereas the other ones were all custom targeting for your audiences. Interest-based targeting is just taking what the Facebook algorithm has already categorized people by and then trying to stack them so that it gives a clearer picture to the algorithm of who the kind of avatar, the profile is that we're looking for, right? And then as long as you keep it not super broad, so 1.8 to 2.2, as long as it's not super broad, then that would be a good qualified audience for you to start testing and running ads to. And then you just want to match the creative as much as possible to the type of audience that was chosen. Make sense?
Yeah.
That's so we got custom audiences and saved audience.
Do you do that for like every ad set? You make a custom audience?
Yeah,
You have to do that.
I'll show you here what it looks
The
like in the ad.
lookalikes. So what is that kind of like? That's like the same audience, but like.
But so let's just say you have, I don't know the exact number, 72 points of data, 300 points of data. Okay, so Facebook knows 300 things about you. So you tell Facebook, go find people that are similar to the 300 points you know about me.
Oh.
Go find people that have similar to my
this
like
this
my
audience
300
already
points.
have.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like
Okay.
300 you know things that they know about you, and then they're going to go find people that are similar to you,
Okay.
to those 300 things that they already know.
But it's not like to you, like similar to the audience that you made.
That's what I mean. So you in that context would be the purchasers.
Yeah.
So whoever purchases from your website, it's going to try to find more people that are like that,
Okay.
right? That are based off of those data points that they have on them. So then when we're in here, what we want to do is look at so here's the ad set, right? Inside the ad set is the audience, and we just looked at all the different so right here you can see this is the audience section inside the ad set, right? Audience, define who your ads see, right? So then you come down here, we got custom audiences. That's what we were looking at, right? So this is a lookalike that is based off of the Instagram page. Anyone that has engaged, has clicked, has followed, has done anything on the Instagram, it's gonna go and find people that are similar to that. 1% means the closest possible similarities. It can go up to 10%. Which is still similar but further away.
Yeah.
Right? And then we're excluding anyone that has visited the website and anyone that has purchased as well. Probably don't need to do both, but
Because if they already looked at the website, they either know if they want it or not.
Yeah. So, but if you exclude people that have not, if this is not here, page view, then this ad could be shown to people that have already visited the website.
Yeah.
Which would not be a brand new. It wouldn't be a unique customer.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what really the ads want, is a unique customer, right? So for each ad set, yes, you need to create a audience and make sure that the audiences are properly targeted. So you want to exclude your purchases, you want to exclude people that have already shown interest or you've tried to sell to, basically. And then you got to have those audiences created. And so that's why this ad set, there's a bunch of different audiences that are all lookalikes based off of purchases, based off of initiate checkout, based off of add to cart, right? Based off of watching a video for 75%. You know what I'm saying? So that is the audience strategy. Any questions there, sir? Did you survive?
Yep.
We did it. Good job. Hello, here we are again. We're learning Facebook ads. We're here with Nephew Brady, the newbie nephew, and we're getting busy down and gritty in the ads manager here, okay? And what we're going to be doing today is just walking through from scratch, just creating an ad just so you can see the process, understand the process. I'm going to do it as fast as humanly possible because that's what's important, is not trying to make this take forever. So first of all, we got the green button here. You just click create. Now, here's a quick rule of thumb to remember. In the beginning of running ads, if you try to run ads for sales, most likely it will not work very well because they don't have any data. The algorithm knows nothing about who your customer is, right? So how could it get very good sale data? Is you got to constantly be testing. So some people would say start with traffic or start with engagement, but I would say just start with sales anyways, because you want to start training the algorithm as fast and as much as possible. Now, they always are coming out with new whiz bangs, new things, new stuff. The newest one is called Advantage Plus. And it does a bunch of automatic optimizations and all of this crazy nonsense. And what we want to do is manual, because while Advantage Plus is good, it still takes to control. Basically, a lot of Advantage Plus campaigns don't allow you to choose your audience and who you're targeting. It will be automatically trying to find who you're targeting, which a lot of times isn't good unless you have a lot of data, meaning you spent a lot of money. If you spend a lot of money, you got a lot of data because you pay for the data. So we're going to go with manual. Now, immediately we're opened with our campaign. Now, inside our campaign, automatically every time when you do this, catalog is selected. For some reason, maybe it is for you. Every ads manager might look a little bit different depending on where yours is and what it's looking like. So we're going to unselect catalog. Catalog is if you have a website with all your products on it, there's a data feed that you can feed into the ads. So if you have thousands of products on your website, it's basically impossible to make thousands of ads for every single product. So you need to feed in the data from the product into your ads, which is your catalog stream, right? So we turn that off. And then we have the option of doing our campaign budget or our ad set budget, which we've learned about in our previous videos when it comes to the strategy of both and why you should do both. We're going to keep that off, do ad set budget. Now, this is the other thing too, is Facebook really tries to push you to use shop, which is like TikTok has a shop. Basically, all the platforms have their own e-commerce store. Basically, that's what it is. It's an e-commerce store inside of Instagram. There's an e-commerce store inside of Facebook. There's an e-commerce store inside of TikTok. And I would say more and more in the future, that's probably where everything's going, is all these platforms are just going to be their own Amazon. Like, it'll be a social media network and an Amazon together. You know what I'm saying? Like, why wouldn't it? It's just a website. Of course they could do that, right? And so they keep trying. It's automatically selected. But the shop is always weird, and it's based off of your feed, and sometimes it never works. So we're just going to do website because it makes a lot more sense. So when you select website, you also have to select the pixel. So you got to make sure you have the right pixel. And then you have to make sure you select the correct conversion event that you're going after for the pixel. Now, obviously you want to choose purchase because usually that's going to be the main thing that you're going after, is trying to get people to buy from you. But in some instances, you could run ads to only focus on getting people to add to cart. There's different strategies that people have for building up your data. The more data your pixel has, the better it will perform. But if you're running ads to only get purchases, you're automatically going to get these other things: add to cart, payment info, initiate checkout, right? So running to purchases is going to be the best possible scenario to get you to actually the fastest efficiency and scalability in your ad account. So after you choose your pixel and its objection, you are then given a chance to do dynamic creative. Now, if you switch this on, what it means is you say yes. And what you can do now is you can select 10 different videos or images in your ad, and it will automatically choose which one to show for you. Does that make sense? 10 different images or videos, and it will dynamically change which one is shown based off of whatever it thinks. Right?
Like out of your 100 ads or something, you'll select.
You choose 10 of them, and you tell it, use these 10.
Okay.
And then it will automatically generate combinations optimized for your audience. So what's good about that is you could test a lot of images and creative very quickly, because you can run 10 at once, and it's going to immediately show the best one to the people. So we'll turn that off for now. And then the next one is your budget. So you get to choose how much you're going to spend and when it's going to start. The minimum you can do is $1 per ad set, or per campaign per ad set. So we'll just do $1. And then your starting date is going to be midnight, always at midnight, or 12:01 the next day. And the reason for that is, do you remember why?
So you have more time to run it, get better hours.
You have a full 24 hours to get that dollar spent. So we're going to get a full dollar spent over a 24-hour period. Very good. And then as we go down, the other thing too is you're starting your scheduling in your ad. So starting your ad at midnight, right? Ending your ad. Realistically, we never set an end date. The ad never turns off. It never ends. If the ad is going to end, it's because we toggle it off. We turn it off physically, right? You never really use the end date in your scheduling. If you could do that, if there was an event, like one of my clients, they run a conference, so we run ads for their conference. So maybe we would set up ads and we would set an end date so that ads are never ran past the conference date, so that people don't see it and it's like, oh, this event already happened. Why are we seeing ads for this? That type of thing. So that would be the only scenario to use an end date, where it's actually that kind of event based. So then as we get into the audience controls. So inside of audience controls, when you do the new Advantage Plus, it forces you to accept. It's really annoying. I'm trying to make sure. Yeah. It forces you, I'll show you right here. It forces you to allow it to automatically use it for targeting. So as we've talked about in other videos, right here. So as we talked about in other videos, we can choose where we target. We can choose the audience that we're targeting our ads to, right? But here, with the new way of running ads, which is called Advantage Plus, the algorithm is finding your audience for you when you tell it who your audience is. So we've engaged with these people because it's add to cart, it's page view. So we know those audiences are engaged. And then our existing customers is purchases. So when you allow the algorithm to choose your targeting options and your audience options for you, it's going to base it based off of those parameters, which is, to me, a little scary still, because we can still add in some detailed targeting, interest-based targeting that we kind of did before. You can just add in, random things. It says right here, like an interest, like Peloton cycling, right? We could add that in or something like that. But it's still basing it off of just whatever it thinks. So to switch to an original audience, which is what we were making before, and it kind of looks similar. This is where we were making those saved audience sections. We were choosing our narrowing down. We're adding exclusions. We were defining further type of thing into our detailed targeting for interests. That is the same section that we were in before in the other window in a different video. So both are together, and I think this is where we actually saved the audience. I don't think we saved it here, but if you save an audience, it's saved right there, and then you can choose it. So then as you scroll down, then with your placements, see Advantage Plus gives you suggested ads. I don't really know what all this means, and I don't really know if anybody does, but for some reason it finds other ads that you could import. And I don't know why it does that or who. These are old ads. No, these are our ads. They're just older ones. Yeah, I don't know why. I'm still sure they're always coming up with new whiz bangs and new willy bops and new dilly dots. So it's a little bit weird. But I never choose any of those. And then the placements here, you're just letting the algorithm choose where to show what you want. You can tell it, if you go right here, manual, and then you can say, I only want my ads to show on Instagram in the feed. I don't want my ads to be shown anywhere else except for the Instagram feed, right? And there is sometimes strategy that works out for, where if you only see, right now we could run an ad and it's only going to show up in the Instagram feed. And then we could also make it to where it only shows up the Instagram feed to like women or men or something like that. Very, very specific parameters. And there's different hacks you can use for that. But it's beneficial to know that you can really customize where it's shown. And then also, more importantly, there's a really big hack that I'll show you. But so if we uncheck this, right? 96% or something like that of all the social media use happens on the phone, right? So if we run ads to a desktop, it's more likely, like, it's not going to convert as much because there's more people on your phone, right? So we can tell it to only run ads on a mobile, on a phone, on Instagram, on an Instagram feed, right? So very, very specific. And what that means then is we're going to get more eyeballs, better eyeballs, essentially, for our dollar, because we're not letting the algorithm decide. We're telling it where to be, because the algorithm does know. But then if you actually look at these things, like, look at this, audience network rewarded videos. So that means that someone has to watch your video all the way through, and then they win something in the game.
What, like?
Have you ever played a game and you had to watch a video or watch an ad?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that is. So that's not going to help anyone in their advertising.
That makes sense.
No. So I don't want my ad to run there.
But also, like, is there like ads that you choose either Facebook or Instagram? Because like it's like either book Facebook or Instagram.
It will. So when you run on both, almost always you just automatically allow the algorithm to decide whether do it on Facebook, do it on Instagram. Okay. It decides where you want it to go and what it should do. So that's why you can, if you don't want to do that for some reason, you can isolate it where it's shown.
Because maybe it's like a different audience on Facebook. Like,
correct. Instagram could be younger, or definitely Facebook could be older, which usually it is. You're exactly right. So, or in like, yeah, it really just depends. So, or in the beginning, there's different strategies you can do to try to like get cheaper clicks or cheaper views, things like that. So then you go into the ad level, and in the ad level, you can create an ad, or you can use an existing post, which we talked about before, where you can just use an existing ad. If you select that, then you can find an existing ad that already exists, an existing post. You can get that post ID. And the main reason why you would do that is because it had a bunch of likes and comments and shares on it already. So you would want to reuse ones that you know work and have a lot of social proof. Otherwise, we want to create an ad, and that would mainly, see here, you could use the catalog again, which would bring your data feed in from your website, which is all of the information from your products. And there is multiple types of creative that you can do. So a single image is obvious, right? You could do a carousel, which is like where you kind of swipe in a way to do it, and there's multiple cards type of thing. And then you can sit here and you can just pick multiple ones, and you can have up to like 10, and then it would just kind of create a swipe. So you can see now it has different swiping capability on it, and then each one of those can have a different headline and things like that. Or it could just be a single image or video. So that kind of matters, because sometimes carousels, having multiple images on your ads does help you, but then sometimes it doesn't. And the reason for that is too many things is not good in an ad. What you really want is one thing. You want them to only think about one thing, and you want the one thing to really be click and go to the website. So the whole ad should be selling the click. That should be the focus on why people. So this is talking about non-alcoholic wine, right? But it should be really talking about non-alcoholic wine and why you need to click to go either buy it or find out more information. Because the longer people sit there and watch the video is good, but the quicker people click is better, right? Because we come back to that click-through rate. So it's good that people watch a video and watch the whole thing and then click. That would be awesome. But if people watch the whole video and then they don't click, that's bad.
It's not useful.
We want the clicks. We need them to click. That tells Facebook, that tells the algorithm, tells Instagram, hey, this is good. We want this. So then you got obviously, so you can put a headline in here, which is the text that shows up like in the ad. And there's a million different things. There's a lot of options. You can find old text, or Facebook will write text for you. Sometimes now there's AI in here somewhere. And you can add up to 5 different variations of text as well. And then it will dynamically change which one is shown based off of which variation it thinks will do the best, right? So you can write different text. And this is where you just use ChatGPT to just like come up with quick text, quick headlines that matter. I mean, it's super easy, seriously. And then you have your call to action, which is your button. So that's going to, right now it says learn more. And for e-commerce, when you're buying something, it's usually always shop now, right? So you just you want to make sure you change your button to shop now, but you have a lot of other options for buttons. But shop now is usually typically what is being used. The other more important things are putting the right website in there for people to click on the button and go to the right place. And then this is important because it has to be checked if it's not, and that is your pixel. So this says attach this pixel to this ad. So if someone sees this ad, clicks on this ad, goes to the website, the pixel's going to register that and attach that page view to this particular ad. And then if they purchase, even more so, it'll then register that data as well, right? The last thing in the ad section in creating the full scratch here is your URL parameters. The reason and what the URL parameters are for is it's called UTM tags. And they are a code which is a snippet of text added to the end of a website, of a URL, that tracks the metrics and performance of a specific digital marketing campaign. Okay, so what that really looks like is when you go to here, okay, so this says URL parameters. And so you can open this up. So we would add in Facebook. So, well, you can read underneath of what it's for, but the campaign source is identify the source of traffic. So where's the people coming? Where's the traffic coming from? Facebook, right? So campaign medium, what is that? Identifying the medium source. So is it a banner? Is it an email? Is it the feed? I don't really know where placement would be that one. And then dynamic name would be the campaign name. Okay. And then campaign content would be source name, maybe ad name. So these little squirrely marks just pull in that information. It'll add it in. So we hit apply, and then this is what it is. So that's why a UTM source. Okay. So it's a UTM tag, basically, that it adds on. So when someone clicks on this ad, it would look like this. The zero proof. It would see that. Wait, hold on. You see that link?
Yeah, it's like.
So then when you click that, it will then. Well, that's not correct, actually, the way I added that on there. But what's more important is something that we'll get into, which you maybe did, Google Analytics.
Yeah. I did that whole like digital.
Yeah. So this will show up in Google Analytics, and it will tag traffic. So when traffic comes from Instagram, for this ad specifically, it would say in Google Analytics that, hey, your Instagram ads are bringing you sales because of this UTM code that's in here.
Okay.
There's more details to it. That's kind of a simple version. Does that make sense, though? Yeah. And then from there, that's kind of the only things. There's not much else in building an ad out that kind of like matters as far as each step. Partnership ad, that's like if you were going to tag someone else in the ad, you could do that, which would be cool if you like, for like influencers, if you have influencers you're working with and stuff like that, that if there's a big celebrity or something like that, then you can tag them, and then it makes it look even like more official and like legit type of thing. But that's not as common to be used. Somewhat is though, but not so much. Otherwise, other than that, that is creating an ad from scratch, start to finish, as far as like every single piece and component inside of each one of these things and the importance of each one of them, and then how and what you should do with using them. Make sense? Any questions, sir? You did a great job. You know, you just took your notes and you did it. Okay, good job. Hello, here we are. I'm with Brady again, and we are learning digital marketing, Facebook advertising. In this video, we're going to be looking at different tools that you really need to know how to use and understand in order to work in corporate America doing digital advertising, doing digital marketing, okay? So let's just jump over. Obviously, this is the Ads Manager, which we've been talking about, which we'll get back to. What I want to pull over here is Slack. Have you heard of Slack? Yeah, it's super annoying. Slack is like a chat room, basically, right? So these are all the individual people right here in the business that for this client, for this job. And so like I could individually chat this dude right now, right? I can individually chat all of them, any of them. You can put two people together in a message and chat them, right? Cool. And then you can also have individual channels, like this is the ads channel. And so then anybody in the company can put something in here about ads, and then everyone that's involved with ads would be able to see that. This channel is about inventory. So if there's anything about inventory that anybody has anything to say about in the company, they can put it there. It's exactly like Discord, same principle, but basically for business communication. And this idea is for quick business communication, right? So most companies have Slack as a part of their ecosystem in communication. It's rare that I run into a company anymore that doesn't have Slack. If they're a sophisticated company, like if they're like a real business, you know, and they have like actual employees, if they're just kind of like a mom and pop or like a startup or like something like that, then most likely they're probably not going to even know what Slack is, or they're too young, or it's sometimes good, it's sometimes not. The problem with it is it's only good for quick communication it's not good for project management. So project management is the other side of the whole coin to keep yourself organized. So that's where something like this, which is called asana.com, and it will help you stay organized in many different methods. Trello, I don't know if you've heard of Trello. There's different project management systems out there, and basically they all kind of work the same, and they allow you theoretically to be more organized. So in theory, what this does is one card or one task, depending on how you want to look at it. Each one of these are individual tasks. So this specifically, these are all individual ads, individual pieces of ad creative. So what is happening here, as you can see, is like all of these ads, they need text. They need copy written for them. Then once they get copy written, they move to this category, which is ready. Then once they're ready, they move to this category, which is on deck, which means that I can go in here and actually launch them as ads. So right here is a link to the actual video, right?
So they're making the video.
This is the VED. Yeah. That's the video that they want ran as an ad. So
I am getting ready to go on a date. I'm so nervous.
oh my gosh. Okay, and then this is the landing page that they want the ad to go to. And then this is the text. This is the headline. This is the headline. This is the ad copy, the text copy that they want to have put into and then just like we did in the previous video where I walked through creating an ad, those are all of the elements of the ad that I would need to use to create an ad, right? So then I would go in there, create this ad, and then mark it as launched, which then you can see right here is launched. And then usually, I'll comment the link to where it's launched. And then the link should pull up the actual ad that was launched. So then you can see it, right? So for them, I'm hired on as a media buyer. That's my job. So that's why I'm not making the ad creative. I'm not making the ad myself, right? If you were an agency, then you would be making the ad. You would do all the things, right? I'm just doing this one part as basically an employee for this company. So when things go into on deck here, that's usually when I'll go and make new ads. But because I restructured the ads and they're working really well, we don't really need to put up as much new creative as we used to, if that makes sense, right? So anyways, we have Asana, which is for your project management, okay? If it's really difficult to do things without project management. I've done it for so many years, and my biggest thing was like, it takes me time to sit here and input information, right? And when I could be using that time to just do the thing. But staying organized, if you had like 20 clients, and you were making like 10 grand from each client, you'd need to be organized with it. You know what I'm saying? So Asana is one of the best ones. There's other project management systems out there, but Asana was invented by some dudes that work at Facebook or something. And then Slack is the quick communication, not 100%. I'm not going to say you really need that as much. It's really only going to be a bigger company, right? Then the other ones are Canva, right? We got Canva. You're all about Canva. Canva can do a billion different things, like videos. It can make videos, right? You can also schedule into social media from here, which is pretty cool. So like we could share this and actually schedule it to our social right from Canva. So that's actually pretty beneficial. It doesn't work as well sometimes, but Canva is definitely going to be hands down what everybody needs to know and use, and be able to jump in there and do anything, create create cool stuff like this, all this type of stuff, because it definitely is very, 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 it's like the most powerful. I think it's killing a lot of other businesses, honestly, because there's so much you can do with it that you can't do with Photoshop, things like that. Yeah, I don't know how much you know about it, but and it's free. And if you use Pro, it's even better. CapCut is one, but this one here, Opus Pro, is definitely probably one of my biggest highlights, which I think we talked about before. But in this video specifically, the reason why this is so powerful is because you can put a video in here, and for one, it'll automatically add captions to the video, right? But for two, you can put a video in here and it will automatically edit it, chop it up, and add the captions of what's happening, and then give you a kind of base score for which is going to have the best intro, which has the best hook in the beginning. So this is like AI. There's a couple other competitors out there, but it saves a lot of time and is part of probably my daily use, just because there's a lot you can do with it, especially when you're doing a lot of video content creation for ads, which we always are. From there, see, with this client, they use Asana as well, and they use Slack. So it's a very common thing for all of these companies. That's the way that they communicate. It's not just me. I've worked with hundreds of companies, and it's all the same thing. So utilizing both of those. Besides ChatGPT, I think we'll do a whole nother AI kind of section and do a whole nother ChatGPT thing with all that. But that's pretty much it. Besides Google Drive, which I'm sure you know about Google Drive, right? These 18-year-olds know about that? They're not that dumb. Okay. Okay, cool. All right, cool. Well, so that is kind of the top tools needed to run Facebook ads, is what I'm going to call it. The top tools needed really to work for companies as a media buyer, running Facebook ads, that you really should understand and know how to use, which would be definitely Asana, Slack for communication, Opus.pro, and then also CapCut, to be honest. CapCut is like it's a Chinese owned. It's owned by the TikTok people. Hey, there we are. But I'm not sure, how. For me, the problem is it takes a while to load. Really? So I think if I downloaded the app, it might work better. But the coolest thing about CapCut that you can't do anywhere else, and is like a free thing, is I put one of our videos in here, and then it automatically adds the captions to the whole video. It's an 1.5 hour long video. It added captions to it. That's pretty powerful. Pretty powerful that it can do that. So definitely CapCut and Canva. It's funny, they both start with C's, and they're pretty much the dominant forces. You could run your whole agency off of CapCut and Canva. You don't need any software on your computer. You just need internet access, and you could create ads for pretty much any company, which is pretty amazing. All right, cool. Well, that is the best tools you need for running ads and other apps that you need to know about to be professional, working in the professional world. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Hey, we're here with Brady. We're learning ads. We're talking ads. Let's do it, Brady. You ready? Yeah. Okay, so right now I have like 4 accounts that I'm running ads for, okay? And different ways that you can make money. So this account makes money by running ads to resell those ads to life insurance agents. So they get the leads, then they resell the leads to a life insurance agent, right? We could go to a different account here, and this one is just e-commerce, straight up e-commerce, but it's they don't own their products 100%. They're selling other people's products, so their margins are a lot smaller, right? Whereas this product is their own product. They own it themselves, and their margins are a lot larger, so they can spend a lot of money and maybe have better returns from that type of thing. So e-commerce basically, or there's one more here. Let me pull this up. So reselling it B2B, and then where is it? This is another way you can use ads to make cheeky money, as long as it keeps loading here. Loading, exploding. Come on. So inside of here is we're promoting an event. So come on, give me the right one. There we go. So we're running ads to try to get ticket sales, which isn't working very well yet. Which we'll get there. But ticket sales, this is going towards leads. But what I wanted to show you is the way you can go towards leads. Oh, that one's not performing it well at all. Oh, wait, 15. So this right here is B2B, meaning it's business to business. So we're offering this conference here to business owners. But what I did is I took an email list, and that's the only ads, that's the only people that are seeing the ads, is this customer custom list, right? Which we talked about in different videos. But then it looks like also entrepreneurship is added on, which I didn't actually know that, which that's totally fine. I could probably take that off when we get better targeting. But basically that's the last kind of, so we have e-commerce, which you're selling a product. We have getting leads and then reselling those leads. And then we have a more strategic B2B where you're not actually using Facebook's algorithm to try to find people. You're going and finding the list of emails and then using that as the basis for how you're going to be making money. Does that make sense? Yeah. So like agency setups is there's agencies that only do leads. That's all they do. They just go after getting leads, and they either resell the leads or they use the leads for themselves because it's their business, something like that. I don't know.
Also,
but
they're not even like working under a company, like they're just doing like broad like health insurance.
Yeah, like I know for this Russian agency out here, I say Russians because it's literally all Russians that own it. They spend millions of dollars a month on ads just for leads. And they do multiple different types of categories of leads, and then they sell those leads. But they're spending millions and millions and millions, and they're making like.
So they're like kind of trying to sell something, but they're not even selling anything. Like they're just like trying to.
No, what they're selling is leads.
Like on the ad, they're like, oh, like we need better health insurance.
On the ad is they're just offering like maybe it's insurance or some sort of incentivization for them to give the information for sure. Yeah, that's part of running ads is that's trying to figure it out. So it would be insurance is mainly one.
But like if they don't even offer insurance, like they're selling the insurance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So like, how are they getting people to click on it then? Like,
well, that's what we're looking at is an actual good quality ad will get people to click on it. So like right now we could make a web page. No, we don't even need a web page because I've done this hundreds of times. Because you basically do this in drop shipping. Have you heard of drop shipping? Okay, so you don't own the product, right? The product is shipped out from the manufacturer. So if you can create a brand that has a logo and looks like it's like an official legit company, then you could drop ship, you could sell products because people would trust you to give you their money, and you'd be like, hey, cool, okay, here's my money, send me my product, right? But if it looks kind of shaky, if the logo's a little janky, if the website's a little janky, then you're probably not gonna get as good But you don't own the product. It's not your brand at all. You have no control over it. You just make a logo and try to look as presentable as possible. That's the same idea as what they're doing. Is they're creating like a brand that then they use. They're just harvesting information from people basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like the people,
For an insurance company, so they would create a fake insurance company basically.
but like they're clicking on the ad, but they're not like they can't even get anything from the ad.
No, well, that's what Coverage Connection is. That's what we were just looking at. Is it's actually, it's just saying, hey, are you interested in getting coverage?
Oh, and then they'll just put their email in.
Yeah, and they'd be like, oh yeah, I'm interested in getting coverage. Talk to me, you know. And then an life insurance agent will connect with them. Pretty much. I mean, not. Yeah, it depends on the company, but with life insurance specifically, with most insurance, you have to like be you have to have not qualifications, but you have to. Not everyone can do it. Like you, especially I think for health insurance too, you have to have like the right qualifications. And there's a certain word I guess slipping my brain. I've talked too much. Yeah. It's qualifications, but anyways, so you can't just like start doing it like you could for a local plumbing company. Yeah. So this is where it's more practical for you, which actually you could do tomorrow in what's the name of your town that your college?
Or in my college?
Yeah. Okay, Lubbock. Okay, and then in New Mexico?
Yeah, that's in Texas.
No, I know. What's the name of your town in New Mexico?
Oh, Albuquerque.
That's where you live?
Or I mean, I guess Corrales is like smaller.
It's smaller. Okay, yeah. Do a little bit smaller one. So, if you could create a fake plumbing company, okay? Yeah, exactly. You could run ads to people in the area, get leads, and then call a plumbing company and say, hey, I got these leads. They're interested and they need plumbing help. Can I send them to you? I'll send them to you for free. If they work out, then we can talk and I'll keep sending them to you and you can pay me.
But they're paying you feelings anyway if they don't.
Well, first, what I just explained is how you break in the door. Because if you're a plumber and someone called and was like, hey, I got leads, I'm going to send them to you. How much do you want to pay for them? You're going to be like, nah, bye, right? But if someone was like, hey, I'm going to send you some leads, I'm going to send you phone calls. So if your phone starts ringing and they're like, hey, I'm interested, I saw your ad, they're coming from me, right? I'm going to do that for free. And then I'm going to contact you back and be like, hey, did these jobs work out? And they'll be like, yes, keep sending them to me. And then they'll be like, how much to keep these leads coming to me, right? And then you'll be like, sure, blah, 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 X amount of dollars, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it's because you set up the fake plumbing company. You are running the ad, so you're paying from out of your pocket. But what if you do it for $1 a day and you start getting leads for a plumbing company? They don't know how much you're paying for the leads.
I was just gonna
you know?
make like a plumbing guy on AI or something.
Oh, easy. Yeah, you can make a brand, you can make a web page. I mean, with that ideogram that we already looked at and everything like that. But then there's other companies like it could be electrician. I mean, any blue collar, any like local home service type of business. All of those they all need leads. They all need constant leads coming in. So there's guys that actually make, it's called rent and rank. So it's like on Google, they'll go and make a website that will show up. So if you typed in Clackamas, Oregon plumber, then they would try to get it to where their website would show up first, but it was a fake plumbing company. It was just there for lead generation, but they would get it so it SEO'd all the way to the top, and then they would basically rent that website. So any of the leads that came from their website, they would give them exclusively to a plumber in the local area, and the plumber would pay them.
Okay.
Basically,
Yeah.
to kind of scam the system. But that's definitely an easy one, because you could approach a company and be like, hey, I'll run ads for you. Just pay me $2,000 a month. Pay me $5,000 a month. Pay me $1,000 a month. I'll just run ads for you, right?
Yeah. Or like you could like sell leads and you have more control. Like you sell it to multiple companies.
Yeah. Or once you start doing something and then approaching companies with like, hey, I'm doing this. Are you interested in these leads? It's much different than just saying like, hey, can I run ads for you?
Yeah, because you actually like have results already.
Right,
Like,
right.
They see that.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I'm not gonna invest in this like teenager.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
has, like,
Yeah,
something on
yeah.
it.
But then the other side about it is really to make a bunch of money running ads. It really needs to, well, firstly, the most important, it needs to be your product you're running ads for. That's the end game, is you sell a product yourself. It's your company. So all the money that's being made from ads goes into your pocket. That's the real money, right? That's the Ferrari money. That's the Ferrari by 25 money. For real. It doesn't matter. If you know how to run ads, you can find a product. And that's what you're learning. So that's the first one. The second one is more running ads for yourself and for your own product, for sure. But running ads to where you own the brand. So lead generation would be the easiest one, like we were talking about, where it's like you created a fake product or a fake brand and you're 100% in control of that. So then if you're selling leads to a plumber and it's a fake plumbing company, if they bail on you, you can just go find another plumbing company. There's no way around that, you know? And then I mean, with Google, again, it's a whole nother kit and caboodle with Google, which we'll get into in later videos. But for now, that's pretty much kind of the money side of running ads, the different avenues that you can use to actually, besides just like, hey, I have a company selling a product, advertise my company.
It's not like a lot of startup money. It's not like a lot of time to like
No.
setting up the website and like stuff like that.
Yeah, because the website and all that stuff, it does make a big difference, but it's so there's a lot that goes into it that, I mean, running ads is way more important. That's for sure. Cool. Any other questions about money from ads? Making money as ads? Like income wise?
Like income wise.
Yeah, or something like that, yeah.
Well, you kind of just said like, well, I guess we're probably going to go into later about like how to actually find the companies.
Yeah, we'll do that as far as like finding, well, the best way to do that, yeah.
So I think I'm good on that then.
Yeah, cool. Okay, sweet. Thanks, guys. Bye. Okay, here we are. We're coming to the end of basically our foundations and strategies of Facebook ads. I'm here with Braden. He's doing a great job. He's got it all in his brain now, right up in there. Okay, and so now we're going to jump over into the ads account, and I'm going to walk through what really you need to start doing, and you need to start running ads at $1 a day. So that's just $30 a month. It's not the end of the world, but if you spend $1 a day, you can start running ads for yourself and seeing what results are, having data, you start changing things, all this type of stuff. So what you need to do is create a Facebook account, right? Obviously, but not necessarily, because a lot of young people like you there, sir, don't have a Facebook account, do you now? Got the old snappy snappers. Okay, so you got to get yourself a Facebook account. Then what you're going to do is go and create a business.facebook account after that, which is a business manager account. And then you're going to go into the business manager settings and you're going to create a page for yourself. You can call this page whatever you want. You can call it Brady's Ads or anything. The purpose of what you're going to do on this page, though, is you're going to run ads on the page to business owners saying, hey, can I help you with your ads? You got it?
So you're running your own ads.
So you're going to run ads. You're going to create a page for yourself. Okay? Create a Facebook page for yourself. Fill it out. And then you're going to run an ad to the page, run an ad from the page to business owners that then just says, and we can make it go, so you don't need a website for this. We can make it go to a form. So then they'll fill out a form and they'll give you their name and their number, and then you can call them and email them and say, hey, I'd love to talk to you about your ads. Tell me more about it, blah, 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 right? And then if you do that $1 a day, you can test a new audience every day. You can constantly be trying different things, but that's the fastest way you're going to learn, is by actually running ads. So what you need for that is you make a business manager account. You go to business.facebook.com. Then you go to the settings. So you go to business.facebook.com/settings. Okay. Then you're going to land on this page. You need to have a page in there. You need to have an ad account. An ad account is actually where we were before, which is the ads manager. So the ads manager is the ad account, and the ad account is what is attached to your payment method. So that's how you pay for the ads, is through the ad account, right? And then you need like a pixel. You probably best have a pixel. So just write pixel down and put pixel in there. Create a pixel. You can create a pixel when you create the ad, so it's not as important. But the two things you need are a page and then an ad account. So after you create your page and you fill it out, you got to have like put an image in there, put a profile picture in there, make some kind of post on there, so it's not just like empty. It doesn't really matter as much, but just saying, hey, I'd love to help you with your ads. Let me know. Message me, Then you would go in here and you would create an ad, which would be a lead ad. So we'll go into the ads manager. Ads manager. Go into the ads manager, and then see, these are lead ads here, right? So what is going on with these shenanigans with these little, there we go. Okay, so to create a lead ad, you can only use the forms on Facebook if you do it as a lead ad. You can't use a form as a sale. So you'd hit leads, okay? We want to do manual because it gives us a little bit better options. Then we're going to leave all that the same. We'll go to ad set, and then we want it to go to an instant form. So this is giving us an option to have this go to Messenger, so people can message us, private message us, or goes to an instant form. We're going to go to an instant form. You might have to accept the terms and conditions if you haven't done it yet. And then you can decide $1 a day right here, right? Whoa. So then you want to just spend $1 a day. And then you're going to choose your audience. So we want to do like just whatever you can. Well, that's custom audience. That's the wrong section. I apologize. We need it to be here, which is like small business owner. Something like that. Okay. And you can think, so there's like this behavior here, small business owner. There's a lot of different interests you can do to try to reach business owners. So you can look at all these and you can test them. There's a bunch of people that say they're CEOs and owners of a business, but that could be, I'm the CEO of, my cat, or, or something. Who knows what that could be. But there's other, there's a lot of different people that have a startup company or home-based business people or something like that. So then from there you go through and then you would create an ad. So then it could just be a picture of your face. Take a nice picture and say hi, like that. Yeah, in Canva, picture of you, and it says, can I help you with your ads? Let's talk, right? Remember, we're trying to sell the click. So, and then it will, let's talk. And then you create a form here that just collects their information. And then you would publish that and let her rip. And if you did that every day, $1 a day, maybe you'd get some leads, maybe you'd get nothing. but you could come back in here and keep seeing data. You can try running different ads. I mean, there's just more options for you to learn from because you're doing something real, more tangible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then once you get comfortable doing that and you have it all set up, you could easily do it for someone else.
Yeah.
No problem. Yeah. Yeah. But definitely, maybe you get clients that way. Yeah, who knows? You never know. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what I would pretty much say to round it out for you really to start learning and take it to the next level is you got to just start running ads. Because that was what I did is I just made myself keep running ads. For a long time, I did $1 a day. Then I just kept on pushing myself to learn, try to get clients through it, try to get sales for different products that I was trying it out or whatever the case was. But I just kept on trying to keep running ads as much as possible for myself at whatever level I could afford, just to keep learning, just to see, because the best way to learn is just do it and just like what's happening when you do things, you know. So that's pretty much it, man. Any other questions? Sweet. Good job. Whee! Okay, so you got to go do all that now.
Okay.
Good job.